What up, my naysayers? We are back in 2024. How's everyone
I got
doing?
that reference.
I was hoping you would. I am Sadot the Gamer. Welcome once again to the AfterShow Podcast, the first of the new year. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and you were not abducted or involved in the apparent alien invasion that happened that everyone's talking about. Yeah, Miami. we'll get into that. Casual Avenger still sleeping off the New Year's Eve festivities, so he won't be here tonight. You know, had way too much deep dish, so he's
a very heavy type of pizza. So
extremely heavy, yes. Especially, and I mean, he had about, I think, told me like 5 gallons just of sauce alone. So I can only imagine, yeah, how messed up that must be. So we'll rock out in his absence once again. In case you haven't noticed, I am joined by my naysayer from another mother, JayShockblast. What's up, my friend?
I am finally unredacted.
Finally, he has. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you're familiar with the show, this comes as no surprise, especially since it is a WB product. JayShockblast was one of the chosen few. As expected, WB flew Jay Moneybags out there so he could play a little Suicide Squad Kill Justice League early. We actually have a live. We actually have an actual photo of what that looked like.
Look at that, Lejeune. I was so. Let me share a story about Lejeune. Okay, so I can't. All right, so let's get this out of the way at the beginning. I can't talk about the actual game, but I can talk about
wink, wink,
the event. You know what I mean?
He will. He will eventually in the show. We're going to trick him
next week, maybe. But
we're going to trick him into doing it.
I wish I got paid. Anyway, so there were 2 days of the event. I went on day 1 and I played with Caboose and Uncaged Games, and we were done pretty quick, and we were just like walking around the WB lot and talking just to Alan from WB about a bunch of random things. And he mentioned that there was a day 2, and they were like, oh, who's going to be there on day 2? And they were saying, Alan was like, oh, comic historians here, Dame Falcon and Lejeune. Yeah. And I'm like, no way. So here's the thing. When my plane landed, I noticed I had a DM from Lejeune and it said like, hey. And I hate like when somebody starts like a conversation with one word, like hey or hi or whatever. Like, get to the point. Tell me what you want. All right. So I just responded, what's up? And then like an hour later, he's like, oh, never mind. Figured it out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. Because Lejeune doesn't necessarily DM me all the time. So I was like, all right, kept that in the back of my head.
Unless it's nudes.
Right. So so needless to say, when he says that, I immediately DM him back. I'm like, dude, are you at the Sheraton? He's like, what you mean? I'm like, the hotel. Are you at the hotel right now in LA? How you know? I'm like, Alan just told me I'm here. We're on our way back right now. Can you meet us in the lobby? He goes, oh yeah, I'll be down. So then I introduced him to Caboose and Uncaged. Comic Historian ended up running through the lobby too. So we talked to all of them for a little bit, and then Lejeune and I went up and had dinner, and it was great. And he's awesome, and I was so happy for him because apparently that was his first time ever flying.
Yeah, and his first time ever having sex with JayShockblast in a hotel room.
That did not happen. Let's not start that rumor.
Allegedly.
Why would you do your boy like that? I'm not talking about me.
I mean, Jay, you're the one that was talking about cuddling and honey packs. So I just put 2 and 2 together. So
I mean, I implied that we cuddled.
I saw otherwise, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, like that picture that that I won't even say who did it, but somebody photoshopped themselves into the photo.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
So we're gonna so even though we can't talk about Suicide Squad, we're going to talk about Suicide Squad. Wink, wink. Just don't tell anybody. We'll we'll give you as much details as we can about the hands-on, and we'll also talk about something that we can talk about in regards to Suicide Squad, and that's episode 3 of Suicide Squad Insider, which is going to be all about DLC, post-launch content, all that good stuff. We're going to give our thoughts on that. Obviously, we're going to talk about the
Got to
alien
make sure we
invasion.
show the lot. So
Of
obviously,
course,
right there is
the iconic water tower.
the water tower. That's where the Animaniacs live. If you don't know, so
Confirmed.
yeah, we got to play in this theater. There was like nobody on the lot either, which was kind of weird. Obviously, the writer's strike is just like kind of finishing up, and you could definitely tell because there's like nothing going on. But my biggest regret is when we were walking around, we walked by the set of Abbott Elementary, and I should have known better because there's like a big school bus and it said like Philadelphia something something. And I saw the big portraits of the two people like on the side of the school. And like it didn't really sink in with me, but my wife loves that show. And
It's a
then when
good
I got
show.
and then when I got back, I'm like, I think we went by the set of Abbott Elementary. I wish I took a picture. And then she's like, "Oh, I thought I saw like outside of the school." And then she like started the show and showed me. I'm like, no way, that was it. So
So another
regrets.
casual JayShockblast L. So
Yeah.
we're also going to talk about some MCU stuff. A lot of news, a lot of reports, a lot of rumors. Avengers 5, Spider-Man 4. Got some cool new updates about Daredevil Born Again, and I want to see Jay's reaction to the release fight scene between Daredevil and Echo. That was going viral, making arounds.
I
I
like
love.
saw like a little teeny bit of it. I've been just avoiding it just
Yeah.
because it's so close. I'd rather just watch it because it's all
Uh,
dropping at once.
this you're gonna want to watch this one. We'll,
Okay.
we'll react to it. We'll react to it live. It's a short one, but it's one you won't forget. so we're getting that. So appreciate everyone in the chat who was first. Who was first? Looks like Marvel 0123 beat Capte. Better luck next week. Happy New Year's nonetheless. What's up, the Savage? Saladia plays. What's up, Vorzad, Arkham? We got Mandalorian Martin, Charles, Billy Finn, Ben. What's up,
No,
Ben?
it has not. The
Michael
9th is
Dykes.
when we can start posting content, but keep in mind it's a separate embargo. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Um,
Yeah,
it's a separate embargo. The NDA for the alpha that is still in effect.
yeah. Y'all saw a lot. Y'all saw some people posting about that on social media. For some reason, they thought the embargo. They thought that the hands-on preview was somehow connected to the closed alpha. It is not. They're completely separate things. The closed alpha was just you sign an NDA for the closed alpha. For that closed alpha experience, what the creators are talking about is what they did for a separate event where they were flown out personally to play the game, and then they'll be doing their hands-on impressions on the 9th. So there's going to be some new gameplay footage shown off during that as well. It's just like every other hands-on preview for pretty much any game you've ever seen.
Mhm.
Spider-Man 2 had one, of course. They had an event in LA and London where creators and journalists got flown out to play a demo of the game, and then afterwards everyone who was there got to post videos with some new footage talking about their experiences. Same deal. Suicide Squad, smaller event, less people were invited than the Spider-Man one, but still pretty much the same deal. Yep. Warner Brothers paid them in sexual favors. That is That is the arrangement. Jay has so much money that is actually his preferred arrangement with WB. So he
No,
actually
we listen.
actually turns down the bags of cash at this point
I know
from
I
WB.
know that Lucky Raygun is joking, but there are people that are serious about that, and oh boy, it was very tough
Uh,
over the last month because this happened like at the beginning of December, like when the alpha ended. I was in LA like 2 days later, so um, it's like it's been a very I don't know who Luke Stevens is. Um,
yeah, yeah. That was odd. I didn't see it. He's a popular content creator and streamer. He's been doing Suicide Squad coverage. Not of the positive variety.
oh, of
We'll
course.
say.
Yeah, see, I feel like you could take them less seriously because like they're doing it like specifically for the impressions. Like the only reason they talk like that is not because they actually feel that way. It's because they want to like drum up the attention. All right. I take them way less seriously than me, who is required by law to disclose whenever anything happens involving money or, you know, in this
Sexual
case,
favors.
travel. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that like, I do not. I did a video like goodbye 2023, hello 2024, where I talked about it. There's only 2 times in my entire 14 years making YouTube videos that a company has ever paid me money to promote something, and it was marked that way as an ad, as a sponsored piece of content. And that was Redfall paid me to do a launch day stream, which I tried to actually tell them I don't want any money because I don't feel like I contributed anything. And I was also sponsored by Marvel's Midnight Suns, where I
Mhm.
made a certain amount of sponsored material for them. So I did get paid by them, but I've literally disclosed that every single time I've ever talked about like those games. And you didn't notice it as much for Redfall because I played it that one stream and never again, you know?
To be
So,
fair, so did most people.
right, right. So, like, and it sucks because like I wanted to like the game, but like I'm always honest. I'm always upfront and I always disclose because I'm required to by law. So I know it's funny to make the jokes, oh ha ha ha, you get paid, blah blah blah. But like here's the thing, not true. Okay. I don't get paid by anybody. There is not a single studio that gives enough shit about me posting on Twitter favorably. I'm not going to be given anything because I was sending nice tweets. All
Yeah,
right. And anybody
here here's a little peek behind the curtain for because people do seem to have this impression with content creators when it comes to gaming. Video game companies very rarely pay content creators in order to promote. And when they do, it's payment in the form of here's a product that you would normally have to pay for that is free for you. So we're going, going to give that to you. You have to disclose that we gave that to you as a free gift. And that is it. Like if you see someone if someone comments on social media that they like a video game, it's not because they were paid to say that, because that's not how it works. No company on planet Earth would ever pay for that. Like
yeah, like
that's not how that works.
nobody cares about me with 5,000 followers on Twitter, like tweeting positively about their game. I defend games that I like. I tweet about games that I like. I definitely am more positive when I tweet stuff because I want to focus on the things I like. I don't want to focus on the things I don't like because that's a waste of my time. I don't have energy for that. I'm too old. I don't care anymore. I something happens when you get older and you have less time to like do everything. You like cut out the shit that doesn't matter. And like I don't have time for video games I don't enjoy. If I play it enough and I don't enjoy it, I would rather just not talk about it. Like Avatar, the new Avatar game that came out. I think it's a fine game, but I wasn't enjoying it. They sent me a copy of the game, Ubisoft, um, and
They
I
sent
played a little bit,
out to
and I'm like,
Ubisoft.
I'm like, I don't enjoy this. I don't want to play it, so I'm not
Yeah,
gonna. You didn't
yeah.
hear me
They
go
sent.
tweet about it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they sent me a copy the day before. I did a stream. I enjoyed it, but I have like an insane game backlog, so I haven't gone back to it yet either. But I'm not going over to the Twitter posts of people who like the game and saying,
Right.
"Shoo!" you
Yeah.
know,
And
like,
deep down they're just very personally hurt. Like that the game
of
touched
course.
them somewhere inappropriately, like something like that. Like I certainly wouldn't get on a horse on Christmas Day and write a
Oh
cringe
my
song about it, you
God.
know? Like I just like people are freaking weird. And I just feel
Yes, yeah.
like I feel like most of the drama around this game is like because people are mad about what it's not, you know? And that's never gonna change. Like, I'm
That's what I'm gonna
sorry.
say. You
Like we
if you just separated the people who don't like Suicide Squad in terms of categories, very few of them would actually fall into the it's just not a game that's for me. It's usually some specific reason that has no bearing on the quality of the actual game. It's a bunch of Arkham fanboys who just want a new Batman game every year who are mad. You got single player freaks who only want us who hate anything remotely live service or multiplayer. You got the culture warriors who think it's woke because Harley isn't wearing a bikini. And you have a very small percentage who are just like, it doesn't look like something I'd enjoy.
so here's the thing. I think both Sadat and I agree that we would much rather play a game where we are the Justice League than a game where we are the Suicide Squad killing the Justice League, like
100%.
100% of the time.
That
Okay.
would be it'd be an infinitely better game. Like
But that's
actually have a concept of that on my channel under my perfect game concept series of a multiplayer Justice League game in the vein of a Marvel's Avengers, but not done incorrectly. And yeah, I think most people would agree, and most people did agree that would have been an amazing game. But that's not the game
that's
that they
not what
made.
they made.
It's
And
not going to
guess
turn into
what? It's not gonna change. It's
well.
always gonna be that.
Well, actually, I did. Am I allowed to say this?
I have no idea what you're gonna say, so
I'm not sure if I'm. In regards to it, the game never being a game where you could play the Justice League. I heard. mm, Yeah, I'm probably not allowed to say that. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna
I
say. I'm not gonna say it.
I'll
I'm
be
not gonna say.
honest with you. As much as I love Miller, I have not been paying attention to any of the leaks.
Yeah, I heard.
Very
I heard some stuff. So I'm just gonna say that the base game is going to be you are a member of the Suicide Squad, and you have a gun, you have a melee weapon, and you're going to be jumping around the city shooting aliens, and during the campaign and missions and stuff, trying to kill the Justice League. That's going to be the basics of that game. And if that's not a thing you're interested in, if you don't like
just don't buy
shooters,
it.
just just don't buy it.
Like not everything is going to be for you. I'm sorry. Okay? Like I choose to I'm not I can't get into like how I feel about what I've already done, okay? But like regardless of the trip, regardless of the alpha, regardless of any of that, I love superhero games. This is a superhero game. I want to play it,
Speaking
you
of
know?
chills, what's up, Lejeune?
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Lejeune. He got is there a new video? I didn't even check to see. I saw I saw when everyone posted on Twitter, they're going to be doing their impressions, and the responses seem mostly positive. But I know people were already making videos calling y'all shills or something. I don't know. I haven't watched any.
I honestly haven't gotten any negative feedback, you know what I mean? Like everybody that's actually like responded to me or like retweeted or quote tweeted whatever, you know.
Actually covered that. That goes under the culture warriors. the people who don't think Harley is hot enough, or the people who won't buy anything that Sweet Baby Inc. is connected to. That's all part of the
Oh, I
culture
think I
warrior
remember
side.
that. Yeah.
That's all part of the That's all part of the culture warriors side that hates Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yeah, who cares? I don't care. I don't even care about any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a superhero game. I want to play it. Yeah, WB asked me to come out and play it, and what am I gonna do? Say no? The
Yes.
fuck? You know
You're
what I mean?
supposed to, Jay. You're supposed to say no. I cannot be bought, or
But I
you're
can't
supposed,
be. Like,
or you're supposed to buy
I
your own plane ticket or something.
I have I'm not gonna I would have just not gone because I can't afford to go. I can't afford to fly myself to LA to go play a little bit of the game. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I know the money back jokes are there, but like, I'm not that
Yeah,
rich.
sweet
You
sweet
know?
baby. Yeah, sweet baby is everywhere. They're in it. Oh, don't sleep, Lucky Ray. There are plenty of people complaining about Spider-Man 2 and the sweet baby connection. Like there's a lot of hashtag woke yelling going on in everyone's comment section, especially my comment section, bro. The amount of comments I've gotten since Spider-Man 2, just since Spider-Man 2 lost at the Game Awards about the game being woke or whatever is actually insane.
Like, 100% of the people that are gonna sit there and complain about like Lejeune and I getting to go do this, like, they're bitter and they're sad
That's
and
the
they wish it was them.
especially the content creators. 100 is what like if there's a content creator that said that's called you fanboys or something like that, it's 100% because they're mad they didn't go. they,
Like,
they
listen, I've spent 14
absolutely
years
wanted to get
building
flown out.
relationships, and guess what? I have a great relationship with WB. So yeah,
Yes, you do.
I and every single time I go on one, yeah, every single time I go on one of these things, I feel like it's gonna be the last one. Uh, yeah. Oh, I mean, Sadot's clearly getting them too, right?
I never stopped getting those Avengers royalty checks.
Yeah. So like,
they're still,
yeah, yeah, it's
even
like,
though the game's delisted, I'm still getting them checks.
I've always been honest about how I feel about things. Like, I would rather if I don't cover something, it's probably because I didn't enjoy it, you know? Cuz I would rather just focus on the things that I like. And I like superhero games, and you know what? I'm
Right.
probably easier to please than most, all right? But I'm
Definitely.
also, when I'm upset, I post stuff. Like, my last 3 videos I posted for Mortal Kombat are me bitching about the XP. Oh no, Warner Brothers, they're not gonna invite me anymore because I'm making critical videos. No, they want us to
I
be
mean,
honest.
they might. I mean, you never say never. We'll see at the next Mortal Kombat event. I don't know. Jay might be locked out.
I, they literally just invited me to Suicide Squad after posting the XP videos. So like,
that's
listen,
that's rock.
when you
That's Rocksteady.
no, it's not. It's WB.
You're saying,
It's all WB.
oh, it's all so your same contact that invited you to
Yeah,
the Mortal Kombat one invited you
yeah. Alan
the
runs
so
creators for WB. So
I was like,
if it's
oh
a
yeah,
WB game,
it's Alan. So as long as Jay is on Alan's good side, he can say whatever he wants.
and we're boys, and I don't want to say that's why he invites me, but like, maybe it is. I don't know. Trust me, I have imposter syndrome. Okay, but like, I've always treated Alan like a human being. And I've always shown I was appreciative whenever he got to involve me in something. And I've always put out quality content whenever I've had the opportunity to do one of these events. And like,
Yep.
these events have been really good for me. And like, I don't know, like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna apologize for getting to be a part of an event. Like, the fuck is that, you know?
And every single person that's complaining or calling you a shill would 100% go to the event if they were in that if they should. Every single person that
And here's
said,
the thing.
if WB offered them the chance to play the game early, every single person who says they hate
Absolutely.
Suicide Squad would absolutely accept that plane ticket and get flown out
Yeah, and here's the thing, because like, going to these events does change you, all right? There's no doubt about it. And it's not because like you want to protect, the opportunity.
Right.
It's because you
You
sit
join the
there.
Illuminati. Right.
It's you sit there and you meet them. Like I sat there and I had lunch with a bunch of the people that you see in those insider videos, you know, and we talk and they're real people and they have real dreams and they have like they want this game to be great. They're excited about this game. They're
Absolutely.
excited about what they worked on. And that applies to Mortal Kombat. Like I sat there at the Mortal Kombat event and had lunch with Rigo Cortez, who's been at NetherRealm for like 20 years. And like we sat there and listened to him tell stories about all sorts of stuff, like going when he went out to Sylvester Stallone's house to record the Rambo stuff for Mortal Kombat 11. You know, sharing stories about that and sharing stories about working with Jean-Claude Van Damme for this game. You know, like you meet these people and like
You mean
they're
Jason?
they're
Did
real.
you meet Jason out there too?
Who?
Jason from Rocksteady. Did you meet him out there?
I don't think not everybody. Not everybody was there. Shit, I forget who it was. I don't remember some of the names. I'm really bad about that. But I did meet like the production manager, I think.
I can confirm. Cat Williams is correct. JayShockblast did join the Illuminati.
I have hair.
It
Not
grew
shaved.
back. It grew back when he drank that demonic blood.
I got the haircut Monday. My wife didn't notice it until yesterday. Called out.
It's the other. It's usually the other way around. but,
Right.
but Jay.
Yeah.
But she wears the pants there. It's like
I mean, not wrong.
No, ain't no shame in that. So Jay can't talk about certain specifically what parts he played or of the game or anything like that.
I can talk about I was there. Okay.
He could talk about the people he met. He could talk about being there, but in terms of the actual like game details, you're gonna have to wait until January 9th. That's a Tuesday, and he will have that as a video on his channel, so you can watch that there. You can also watch my live stream of me reacting to the impressions as well.
Yeah, I'm purposely posting my video hours later.
That's usually a good strategy to like try to switch up because when that embargo time lifts, most of the people are going to be posting at exact same time.
Yeah, I'm so our interaction was obviously a joke. But it is a little frustrating though, because like for Gotham Knights, I was on my way to New York Comic Con when the embargo lifted, so I couldn't sit there and like show everything the way I really wanted to. I kind of just dump it over a few hours. And this time it's a little bit different, the way we have to edit and everything. I'll be honest with you, I've had the footage for a month now. I haven't even looked at it because I was going to do it the weekend before, and we have to kind of edit it a certain way. So I'm still
you don't give away certain stuff.
Well, yeah, I can't. I don't want to like get into too much, but like things were curated, so you know, there's certain stuff there, and I'm excited. I think I'm really excited to finally be able to talk about it like officially.
Sure.
Because I really feel like a lot of people are going to end up being surprised. I don't think that's like going too far. I mean, obviously, you know, there are people that played the alpha behind closed doors. I think you and I both know a lot of people seem to like be pretty excited about it.
I wouldn't know anything about that because I cannot confirm or deny if I played the alpha or talk to anyone who played the alpha.
Yeah. I don't think I met Axel. I wish I remember who I sent the picture of who I met to. I think it might have been King Greek. Yeah, I met Jack Hackett, production manager. You see him in the and I honestly, there was a bunch of other people there, and I don't remember everybody's name, and I'm so terrible about that. I really wish I had paid more attention. But yeah, they weren't obviously all there because they're from the UK, and they were doing an event at at Rocksteady, I believe, for the UK folks at the same time. So yeah,
I mean, got got to prioritize UK folks.
I really feel like yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not like bothered by like some of the like reaction to us being positive, but like I am tired of it. Like it's just like I don't care. You know what? Like fucking grow up. Like it's a $70 video game. Buy it or don't. If you're in a position where spending $70 on a video game and maybe not liking it is going to hurt you, then you shouldn't be buying video games. That's probably another conversation you have to have with yourself.
That's true.
Like I'm just so sick and tired of this mentality of like I paid for this video game, therefore I can say whatever I want to whoever I want. No, man, that's why nobody takes you seriously. Okay? Like there's ways to criticize things and be critical and not be a douchebag about it. And then
Right.
there's ways to like sit there and go after people specifically for what? What do you think you're gonna change? Like, do you think they're not aware?
Yeah, it's just a weird thing where people, I don't know if they're stupid, probably they're stupid, but
Yeah.
or but it's like they don't seem to understand the difference between being a hater and toxic and constructive criticism. And I think it is a lot of just them just being stupid. But like when Caboose responded to that Reddit post about the Rocksteady employee who sadly
Right.
died before the game came out. A lot of stress and everything like that, and all he did was just mention how it just felt bad for the amount of abuse that developers face online, which is a fact. Like it's not something that any reasonable or honest person could argue with. But you have people saying, "Oh, so that means you're not allowed to criticize the game, huh?" And I'm just like, no, that's not what he fucking said.
Yeah.
If your idea of criticizing a game is personally insulting a developer or threatening to kill them, then you have a serious mental deficiency. That's not criticizing a game. Criticizing a game in the case of Suicide Squad would be saying, "Hey, I'm not. I don't. Oh, I don't like the look of the UI, or I don't particularly like the style of the combat. I wish it was more emphasis on individual melee or something like that, and I think that would make that better. That's criticizing the game, saying this sucks, lazy devs. That's not criticism.
Right. And listen, there are some games where it's like, hey, this sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like
some
it is what
games
it
suck.
is. The thing that bothers me though is like, and here's some examples that they've shown in their promotional videos that we can talk about. All right, let's talk about Poison Ivy. That was obviously a big controversial point of contention when she got unveiled, and I'm glad she was because yeah, reasons.
Shout
Um
shout out to Miller for leaking that.
yeah, but like what did you expect? She's a plant. Like she's a kid. Yeah, she grew back. I don't particularly love her design either, but like at least it makes sense. Like I'm sorry you can't jerk off to her, but
Yeah,
like
yeah. That seemed to be the
that's
biggest
literally the only
criticism
reason to hate it.
there. The
I don't
criticism.
love the way they designed her hair, but at least it makes sense. It's like
I mean,
lettuce.
I think this is also technically the only uh instance where her character comes back as a child. In all her other appearances, when she uses this ability, she comes back as an adult. So this is going to be the first incarnation where she comes back as a child. So
Oh no,
people
they did
were
something different.
people were not only confused by that, they were mainly just mad because they wanted the same Ivy from Arkham, the one that they jerked off to. and
Yeah, and
and they're not going to get that.
exactly what Nate Clip says. She got the baby Groot treatment. All right. Like whatever, man. Like, is it
Yeah. Yeah, I
can
didn't
you just
care
I just
about
need someone to explain to me why is it a big deal? Like,
yeah, I didn't care.
what does it
I yeah,
matter?
I didn't care at all. The only part of that thing that I thought was weird was how they kind of just retcon their relationship from the Arkham series. Other than that, it's just like, okay, I just looked at her like, oh, she's a vendor, because I'm thinking about it in terms of the actual game. Like, okay, she's a vendor, or what? How good is the stuff she's offering going to be? In terms of story, I was like, yeah, this doesn't really make any sense, but you know, we'll see how it all plays out for the rest of the game. I know there's more to that. There's going to be more to the story. I didn't follow up with Miller about it because I wanted to avoid spoilers, but I know there's more to the Poison Ivy arc in the game. But from what they actually just showed, I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I understand that, like, the heart wants what it wants. Like, we all want things to be a certain way. I think I look at like Marvel's Avengers, like we criticize that game all the time, even though I think we both loved it a lot more than most people did.
not
You
me.
know?
I was the game's biggest shill. So depending on
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I feel like we watch this whole community just sit there and play like the same thing over and over and over again every day, no lifing that game, and we were part
100%.
of that too. You know, like we like I loved it. I could fire up a stream of Marvel Avengers and run around and do the same thing I did yesterday, and I'd have like 150 people watching easy.
Funny enough, I actually just played Marvel's Avengers earlier today
Yeah.
because I'm working on a video and I needed some B-roll of certain superheroes. So I fired up a couple missions and it's still fun.
and that's the thing. Like, listen, I understand that people like there's this like pushback against live service. There's this pushback against multiplayer for some reason. I mean,
it's lonely. That's mainly just lonely single player people. Most people like multiplayer and want multiplayer.
yeah, but you don't have to play this like
That's
you
right.
can play this single player. You know what I mean?
Brian Wagner paid me personally for that Marvel's Avengers comment. But
Yeah.
The single player complaint about Suicide Squad is probably the dumbest thing, because even before they announced offline play, they said you can play the game single player.
Yeah, and I don't know. All right, so I don't know if I'm really. This is not like anything to do with my playthrough, like because I could talk about the fact that I was there, and I could talk about the fact that like, you know, obviously I met with Rocksteady people there. I have this video game pitch that I'm known for. When we went to
Batman
WB
Ninja.
Game, exactly. So we went to WB Games Montreal. You know, I would jokingly gave this pitch to everybody, including the head of the studio, in an elevator for a Batman Ninja game, while Caboose was pitching a Superman game, which makes way more sense. I jokingly just thought of the most ridiculous thing that I could, and I was pitching Batman Ninja, and I wasn't gonna do it this time. And then I kind of got peer pressured into it.
As you should have.
And if looks could kill, I would not be here right now, because I do not think they found anything funny or interesting about my pitch, which, in my opinion, gave me the impression they just wanted to do something different. And they're tired of talking about Batman. And that's my opinion. I'm not like putting any words.
You heard it here first. Rocksteady hates Batman now.
Yeah, but like I don't blame them. Like, if that was the way they actually felt, I don't blame them, because like imagine like they worked probably like 12 to 15 years of their life on Batman games.
Yeah.
And now they've got this option to do something different. And again, I'm going to go back and say it again. Both Sadot and I 100%, like 100% of the time, would rather play as the Justice League than kill the Justice League. I think everybody feels that way. We're just accepting of what it is, you know, because I like superhero games. You know what else I don't want? I don't want a Captain America and Black Panther game. All right. Like,
racist.
I said Captain America first, and it's the white one.
He put that together because what he means by he doesn't want a Captain America and Black Panther game is that
I don't want
he would rather have a Captain America and a white superhero game, and then a Captain America and Black Panther game. He
No.
was like, what?
And by Captain America, I mean Sam Wilson, obviously. There, undercut your joke. But like
he actually
seriously,
means Bucky Barnes.
I don't want an Iron Man game either. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather. There's plenty of other things, you know.
He means Ironheart.
Oh yeah, Ironheart. Yep. Let's see what else can we do. I got nothing.
He hates it. It's what. No, I understand. Like people, when it comes to superheroes, I think the great thing about the current slate of superhero games is that it's kind of got something for everybody. You know, if you want the looter shooter experience, it looks like Suicide Squad is going to be the way. If you like the Insomniac stuff, I mean, fucking stay tuned for the next 10 years. Holy.
Yeah.
And, but then you're going to have these other options. You know, the EA's got 3 Marvel games they're working on: Iron Man, Black Panther, and the mysterious third, which I'm making a video on. And then you still got the Skydance New Media Captain America and Black Panther game that Jay hates because it's too much diversity.
I think we can all admit that's a weird choice to do a Captain America T'Chaka game. I don't even think it's T'Chaka. Isn't it like T'Chaka's dad?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the only weird choice I think about that game is that they chose Dora Milaje and a Howling Commando as the 2 other characters, because when people heard it was an ensemble game, that's why the rumor before the reveal was that it was like a Fantastic Four game,
Zori,
or potentially something with the Defenders or something, because they insiders knew it was like there's going to be 4 playable characters, but it would be a single player game. And when you think of 4 character, team ensemble superhero game, you think, okay, some Avengers type of game, Defenders, Fantastic Four, and it turned out to just be Captain America, Black Panther, and 2 non-superheroes. It's a weird choice, but Captain America and Black Panther, I mean, that makes sense to me. That seems cool. That seems like a cool idea. I'm down with. It's just the other 2 characters that I thought was a odd choice.
Yeah, but I just don't really feel like anybody wants a World War II era. Like, we already kind of, like, I know that probably nobody played the Captain America the First Avenger game. I think Sega made it. It was actually a decent movie adaptation.
I feel like a decent amount of people, but I specifically remember watching playthroughs of that game. I feel like it was decently played relative to the other ones, because let's be honest, there were definitely a lot of terrible superhero movie tie-in games, and the ones that stood out as decent were more well known. Like, off the top of my head, it's like I think there was like at least 1 Iron Man and Hulk one that were decent. There was obviously the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire ones were great, and Superman Returns was solid, and I remember and obviously X-Men or just Wolverine was the best one. But I remember people liking that Captain America First Avenger one.
Yeah, so to Sean Wood's point, like, I'm not saying the game is going to be bad. I'm just using it as an example of a game I wouldn't have chosen to make. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm going to play it, and I'm probably going to love it. But
and
like,
Skydance New Media is probably going to fly him out to play it.
I hope so.
With a bag of money in his seat.
Yeah, like, but that's the thing though, is like, studios, everything starts as an idea with the right, like, their heart's in the right place. They think this is a game that we can make that'll be fun and people will enjoy, and it's not going to be for everybody. Like, let's look at the classic example, Marvel's Midnight Suns, right? Like, I feel like we've seen a lot of in the last, like, recent time, like past few months, especially since the game has been so cheap, that like people are finally like giving it a chance and realizing, holy shit, this game is fun. And again, I was paid money by 2K to make some promotional videos for Marvel's Midnight Suns. So if that slants your opinion of what I have to say, I get it. But
I, for one, was not paid by 2K, and I played Marvel's Midnight Suns. I streamed it on my channel, and I can vouch as someone who was not paid off that it is a very fun game. It was my favorite. I think it was my game of the year for 2022, and definitely one of my favorite superhero games of all time. It was another game that that I blame High Ruler for me playing because I was skeptical about this Midnight Suns and Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, I wasn't impressed by the marketing, and it was from Square Enix, and they were coming off the Marvel's Avengers experience, which I was in the midst of. So I was skeptical about the game, especially when we found out Star-Lord was the only playable character. But Hyrule was like, no, this actually is pretty good. So I put in a request, got early access, and one of my favorite games of all time. Similar with Midnight Suns. I heard the premise of the game and thought, oh, this sounds like a dream come true. And then High Ruler mentioned, oh yeah, this is going to be like a turn-based strategy game. I was like, oh, well, there goes my excitement. and along with a lot of people felt the same way. But I got my hands on it and I gave it a try, and was so within the first 10 minutes. Once if you get through the combat, it's a great experience. But that's the thing, because it didn't have that great initial first impression. It didn't necessarily hit those sales goals that they were looking for, and that sometimes happens with games. Like you can't help it. Some games, get better with time. Though that's been the benefit. Like Midnight, Guardians didn't have that initial big push because of the Marvel's Avengers and the marketing, but ended up getting over 8 million players. Very critically acclaimed. More people are more favorable towards Gotham Knights now that it's cheaper. It was on Game Pass. It was on PlayStation Plus. So now people are like, oh, what's all the hate about? Especially now that the game's had a bunch of patches. It's got 2 pieces of post-launch DLC content. So now people playing it in this state are confused as to why so many people said it was the worst game ever. And it just beats like that.
And those are classic examples of the mob mentality where people just listen to a bunch of the loudest people in the room and don't actually try for themselves. And I get it. Video games are expensive, and but you don't have to get it right away. Nobody said you have to get it day one. If you have to wait for a sale, wait for a sale. Most of these games launch in the September, October, November window, and once we hit Black Friday, they're all going to go on sale. 100%. So you don't even have to wait that long most of the time.
Yeah, if you're not a content creator, there's really no reason to have games early. For certain games, I can understand. For example, Spider-Man 2. People wanted to hurry up and get that game so they can stop dodging spoilers. but for the most part, you could just get the game if you're on the fence about a game. You can just wait for it instead of going to the Twitter accounts of content creators who are excited about the game and telling them they suck and their shows.
And that's the thing. I feel like no matter who it is, these people will go to anyone that's excited and just dump on them because of their own insecurities. It doesn't matter, and because clearly people do it to us and they don't know us. And they don't know that we criticize the games just as much, they just see that one time that we're positive, and that is our only identity.
That one time you defend Adidas in product placement in a Spider-Man game, and you're a show for life.
Dude, I will never understand that one. Literally, I have no relationship with Insomniac or PlayStation. They're not. I literally drove to New York to buy the game. It's so funny to me. But
that's what I'm. This is actually now we're in a reverse position because I had the relationship with Sony,
right?
And I get caught shit. So if I say because Sony sent me the Spider-Man custom controller the PS5 plates, the actual game, and the Warby Parker sunglasses. If I say anything remotely positive about Spider-Man 2, it's because I'm a paid pony.
And you know what the hilarious part was? I made a video like the week before that Adidas thing criticizing Insomniac and Marvel because Donny Cates, they basically like actually I think it might have been after actually. But like Donny
I
Cates
remember that.
tweeted he like tweeted that like somebody asked him if he got any like royalties or anything for basically the whole third act of the game being basically ripped from his Venom storyline. And he's like, he posted that gif of Tom Hardy in a Venom interview or whatever, and he's like that. Like, so it's like that's crazy. Like, that's literally like it's not a shot for shot remake of what Donny Cates did, but like that big scene where Venom sprouts his wings.
It's enough that he should at least been in the credits. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
he should have at least been in the credits. Like they gave Stan Lee and Ditka the thank you, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, like that was my point. Like you should have absolutely put him in the credits. Like he absolutely did that, you know? So
for sure. But that didn't go viral. So,
but nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody it's just funny when they cherry pick things and now there's people like, oh, you're just an Insomniac shill. Like how? Like
Yeah.
what do you think there's employees for Insomniac that are going through my tweets and like, oh yeah, Jay, I can't believe thank you so much for defending us. Oh, thank you.
Oh, definitely.
That's absolutely happening.
100%.
Yeah, so it's stupid, and they're stupid, and like I mean I don't know.
Yeah,
But hey,
the way it's supposed to work is you have to be either or. So if it only counts as your criticism only counts if every single video and post you make is negative against Insomniac, then then they'll take your criticisms. But if any of your posts are positive, especially if more of them are positive than negative, then none of the negatives count. You're just a show. That's how that works. You either have to be a complete show, either a complete show if you're mostly positive, or you're a fair and honest prophet if everything you say is negative.
I wish there was some word like the opposite of shill, like what when they say shill, like I wish there was a word for that, and it wasn't like like haters, like or whatever it may be.
We have a word for that, grifter.
Grifter.
That's what.
Okay, I actually do like that. Actually, I mean I've obviously heard the word, but like I didn't really think of applying it that way.
Oh yeah,
All right, yeah, that's exactly what they are.
That's how I apply it, grifter. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's literally what it is. There are a lot of grifters, especially with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, when your entire identity is just putting out content and shitting on things like Cryel, for example, a ghost of Christmas past that I forgot existed. Like those people of the world, like when that's your entire existence, like you cannot criticize anybody for being the opposite. Like
it's definitely great. Yeah, when your whole timeline is you shitting on Suicide Squad, but also saying that you're definitely gonna play it, and but also anyone who disagrees with you, you make a rap song about them. That you're just grifting.
if you get on a horse on Christmas Day and cringe out some rap tunes because somebody said live by the sword, die by the sword, you might be a redneck.
Yeah. That is
I will never not laugh about that. Like just the fact that like I was literally like blindly responding to like what you were saying. Like I was basically saying, well, live by the sword, you die by the sword. I wasn't taking a stance. It was just one of those things where like, hey, when you are on the edge, you might fall off. It is what it is. And then it turns out that the DC's PR guy confirmed everything that you said. That the guy was it's just so
literally
funny.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because my stance, I didn't even take a hard stance on the nature of DMCA or abuses, because I know some companies can abuse DMCA, but my issue was the fact that people were claiming that criticism was specifically being censored and mass censored, and which is obviously not true. Like they're only DMCAing leak things related to leaks. No one cares if you're negative about a game. Like like they're not there's not a WB representative scrolling through Twitter and YouTube seeing who says the game is bad or they don't like live servers waiting to give them a strike. That's not how that works.
No, not at all. That's definitely not what happened. And that was and I literally, and after the person like started coming after me, it was never about the point, and that's what I always said. Like I don't even care about that point. Like I don't know what you're talking about. You're just stupid.
And
but
then
apparently on Christmas Day they got on a horse and vomited words. I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I made it through 20 seconds before I couldn't take it anymore. It just closed my computer.
Somebody made a GIF of it, and I just read the what do you call it, the
captions.
Yeah, the captions, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not watching this. This is stupid. And like, I don't know.
Apparently, he's a fan of you, Jay. There's some lyric there about him wanting you to give him a blowjob or something. So
I bet he does.
There's some heavy projection going on. Maybe this is like a tsundere situation where he's being mean to say as his way of showing that he cares. I don't know. But
sorry,
Jay's
buddy.
Jay's a married man. not interested.
Buddy's down bad.
I bet.
Yeah.
No, we got it.
I honestly, like, I said this to you in private. I'm like, we should invite him on. You know he won't come.
No, he's a clout goblin. He would absolutely come.
Right, well, it would be embarrassing. Like, it would honestly be embarrassing to not be able to sit at his keyboard and like have to actually like, because I'll say it. You're tough to like when we are not on the same page. Like that's a tough battle, right? And yeah.
I haven't even showed you my final form yet.
I believe it. That's the thing. So like, even if that person could get through me, then there's you, and you're one of the few people that I'm like, I'm gonna pick my battle.
Yeah, I love a good argument. Like no, I don't. No, I like a healthy, clean debate, but you know when it comes to like,
it wouldn't be that
just internet nonsense. Yeah, it's just going to be. I'm just going to say my point because it's like okay, whatever. But yeah, if you don't have the keyboard to hide behind, it'll get messy.
Yeah, because
I will make you uncomfortable.
And that's my whole thing. And like, and sometimes, like, I try not to engage in this stuff, but like, I know there's a lot of people that follow me from important places, and sometimes when I quote tweet these clout goblins, as you say, it's to make sure those people see it. I remember one of my quote tweets was, and this is how you're never going to make it. You don't know the business. You don't know the industry, and you never will, because you're a piece of shit. Like you treat people like shit. You're toxic. And if you act that way, and this is in general, not one person in particular, like if you act that way, I will absolutely make sure that, like, you know, everybody sees it.
That actually did happen. There was to one person in particular who was also being a clout goblin, talking shit about me that I had to expose real quick. But yeah, they were basically bragging about leaks and illegally downloading Wolverine and trying to take the moral high ground. And Jay retweeted that, and we got confirmation from someone in the industry that particular content creator is on a blacklist. so
it absolutely happens. Listen, I know and Sadot is getting there, and I know that like more and more people are seeing it, and I'm so happy for that. But like, I've met a lot of people over the years in this industry, and I've built a very good reputation. And I know sometimes I can like get in the shit and like hash it out like I shouldn't. But like at the end of the day, I I've met these people. They know who I am. I am honestly one of the nicest people that you will ever meet. Like I am a genuine real person, okay? And I don't enjoy being negative, and I'm doing my best in 2024 to avoid those things. Um but I will also defend the people that are there for me, you know, and like
100%.
I will absolutely admit that Miller once made a super thread about a certain content creator um being a terrible human being, and I saw that content creator begging for a game in someone's feed once, and I absolutely passed that thread on to the person, and they absolutely passed that thread on to their corporate, and that person is absolutely not going to
not
be
get
working with some people.
not get that game.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know, I've actually settled down, you know, because believe it or not, I haven't been a content creator for that long.
Hmm.
I only started in 2021 and had never done it before. But I remember I got some advice from Bob Duckenweave like a while ago about the way you come across online, and he mentioned that it's important not to be too come off as too aggressive, and that because that could potentially rub some people the wrong way. And then I remembered I am black, so I'm wearing a do-rag. so I am I am held to a different standard, and but in general it is good advice to have, because you know, if you're at a certain level, you can get away with more stuff. But if you're like a upcoming content creator and people don't really know you, you don't really have that much leverage. It is good to be as professional as you reasonably can. Like not to say you have to be, you know, Mr. Rogers all the time, but you know, maybe be more calculated with your words, even if it's going to be criticizing. Because I remember there were times when I absolutely went hard in the paint on Marvel on Marvel's Avengers, and they 100% deserved it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit back and say I was wrong, because because thinking back on it, the only thing I would do is maybe adjust my approach in some circumstances. But my essential complaints and criticisms were 100% right. We were gaslit, we were lied to. I was personally slandered publicly and behind the scenes from developers over there. So I'm not you know, gonna, you know, walk back that. But I understand, like, from a perception perspective, it can be good to, you know, kind of get your ducks in a row, so that it's hard for someone to paint you in a negative way, because I've seen it. I've seen what they did. I've seen behind the scenes where some developer one developer had take and other in a cooperation that others there at Crystal Dynamics had taken something that I said out of context, and we're trying to use it to smear me as this like super negative person who hates developers. And what I had said, what the incident in particular was that the remember the whole XP debacle. You know, for those in
yeah,
your for those in your refresher, Marvel's Avengers had this whole situation where they announced that they were changing the way that you gain XP to level up. They said that they were making this big change, and they were going to slow. There was basically slowing down the rate that you gain XP, because they claimed you were going to get there were players that were so overwhelmed by the speed that they didn't know what to do with all those skill points they were getting. So they're going to slow it down. Now, obviously, the people who actually played the game knew this was a bullshit excuse because that just wasn't a thing. Like there was, you could go through you could go through the Discord, you could go through the Twitter, you could go through the Reddit. There was not a single person who complained that the XP gains were too fast. That just wasn't a thing. But that's the reason they went with. So people were like, okay, we'll see how this affects the game. Months later, they announced, hey, unrelated, but we're releasing this new product. It's free. It's called XP Boosters, and you get it. You equip it to your character, and it gives you a boost to your XP gains. And people were like me, were like, and high rulers were like, well, that's weird. why would you cut XP and then introduce a booster to XP? It kind of feels like they're setting up a way where they're going to basically sell you back the XP gains that they took away. But they assured us this would not be the case. They would be free. They told the content creators in the Illuminati group they would be earnable. You not pay for them, and they sent them out, the content creators out there on social media to tell people to vouch for them. Like, so guys, we asked,
I was there.
They confirmed it to us. We're you don't have to worry about the XP boosters being for sale. They're going to be earnable. We directly asked them this, and they confirmed it. So there you go. On my reputation as JayShockblast, you will not have to pay for XP boosters. They're just going to be something that you can earn. Then fast forward to the launch of the game on Game Pass, where they got an influx of new players, and people wake up to find that in the cash shop are XP boosters with no explanation, no tweet, no blog, nothing. You just turn on the game and their XP boosters are for sale. And coincidentally, a bunch of new players are on the game now from Xbox. So now they don't know about anything, from the previous months. They're coming on and seeing the XP boosters, and they're thinking, oh, XP boosters. Okay, maybe I'll, do that. They don't know that they're useless or not necessary, but it's money. So me and others pointed out, hey, what the fuck? you basically just gaslit us for 6 months and then just dropped this out of nowhere. Why did you do that? And their response was to put out this long post on Reddit about how it's just so disappointing how toxic the community is, and how the people are just attacking the devs who are just trying to do their best. And I pointed out, hey, I think that's bullshit. There are people who are just rightly calling you out for lying for 6 months so you can hustle XP boosters and then dropping it without an explanation.
Yeah.
That's all. And certain developers at Crystal Dynamics took my statement there and twisted it to make it sound like I hate all developers, which wasn't the case.
But yeah, I was there for that meeting too, and
he could vouch.
Yeah, so like, I remember it. It was really weird because like, I could tell the way that Brian was explaining it was like he was leaving wiggle room. He was like, it's something that we're gonna like evaluate over time and adjust how we do it. But our plan is that these are not going to be for sale; they're going to be earnable. And then they started like bundling them with packages. Like you couldn't outright buy them, but it came with one of those bundles they would put out. And we all had like 1 billion of those boosters. They were like a new player, I could understand why they would buy them, but like old players, it's funny that we were just talking about High Ruler.
We were just talking about
it's like about Beetlejuice, you know what I mean?
We're just talking. You say shill 3 times and High Ruler appears.
Yeah. So like, but they absolutely said our plan is not to sell them, and that was a fact. Like that is exactly what they said. Mrs. Ruler, why did you make him go to Denny's?
Yeah, I
That's
saw
what
the
I want to know.
I saw the plate that he apparently had there, and
Oh, I
Jay,
didn't see that.
I gotta agree with Jay here. That was Denny's was not the right move. It looked like actual shit was on his plate.
Like I know it's Canada, so there's probably not much good to eat there, but surely there's better than Denny's.
What they eat up there besides maple syrup and
Poutine?
poutine? That's pretty much
Ham?
Canadian bacon, which is ham. ham, ham, raw maple syrup, and poutine. That's the
It's
Canadian
been
diet.
it's been a bad day for High Roller. He had to watch Team USA win the gold medal in hockey, and Canada didn't even actually make the medal round.
This is true. High Roller does love a good glizzy.
and
they call High Roller the glizzy goblin.
Hoarder's right. There is a chance that they changed their mind. There is a chance that they saw this opportunity, and the only point anybody ever made was explain it before you just do it.
Yeah,
I feel like if they had said, okay, this is what we're doing, we've had these out for a while now. We are going to make these available for purchase. It wasn't even a lot of money. I think it would have been a lot different, but I can't believe we're rehashing this story all these years later, but it makes sense in the context of what we're talking about. It's just, yeah. So it is about the messaging there. And that was what you were trying to say.
Yeah, it was literally just about the messaging. So it's just important in general to understand how you're coming across. Like if someone is responding a certain way, it's not always because they're wrong. Like they could be, but it could be just because the way you came across makes you seem like you were the wrong, and or prevents people from like looking past it and give you the benefit of the doubt. So that's just something that I've been keeping in mind, not making sure that if I do have something negative to say, I'm gonna make sure I'm extremely clear and constructive as possible, rather than just
Right. And
letting it fly.
that's when people are going to listen to you. Like you're not sucking up to anybody. You're not like trying to you're not like, you're trying to have a conversation and be taken seriously, because I'll tell you what, think about any job you've ever had that's public facing. When somebody comes in and acts like a Karen, you tune them right out. Like you don't even, it literally does not matter what they're saying. You don't care. Right. And these developers are the exact same way. If you come in hot, you can make the best point in the world and they're not even going to listen to you.
Exactly.
It's just
Like
a fact.
you may have some fire observations about Suicide Squad that can make the game much better. But if you come in with, fuck this game, you lazy devs, they're not going to listen.
Yeah, you're out.
You're
So, and that's the other thing that's kind of funny to me though, is like I didn't even think of this, but like the new trend right now, that like it's like the hive mind thought, oh, this is how we can go after the shills. You're just trying to protect your early access. You're still gonna get he's being nice about the game. He's still gonna get his early access. I don't give a shit. Like obviously, like anybody else, it's really nice to get a game early. It's very helpful. It's very helpful to get a game free, not rich, not money bags, not really. But like I buy more, like I literally bought a game today. I buy way more games than I don't. I waited for this to go on sale. All right. Because I like superhero games. It's a kid's superhero game, but whatever.
But we're talking about the relative value. We're talking about like $70. Like who cares?
Right. But like exactly. Like I'm not gonna let a $70 video game, hold me back from my integrity. All right. And I look back at that Marvel's Avengers situation. Like, if I was really concerned about having the early access, having the connection with the developers and all that, I wouldn't have left the program because they were being rude to another creator. Like I would have sat there and said, yes, sir, and then I would have gotten all those free skins,
They want to hear that though.
But I left, and I was the one that started that. Like I said, you know what? It's kind of fucked up the way that you're talking to him. I'm out. And then two other high ruler followed, and Johnny Rocker followed.
Because at the end of the day, it's not. It is with the integrity. There are definitely creators out there who have zero integrity, but it's very easy to tell those kind of people's apart. Like Jay will criticize a game he, even if he was flown out or got early access, and as he showed, he will happily walk out of a creator program if there's something fishy going on in there. That's just the way it is. Like people have integrity. It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal if you have review. Like if you disagree and you think that that any of our opinions are wrong, then you're free to argue. But most of these people aren't going to do that because they don't actually have any intelligent point to make. They just want to be mad. Like,
yeah. Like I care so much about getting early access that I drove all the way down to New York City to get Spider-Man like a day early, pay full price and get it a day early and spend like 7 hours driving, you know? Like if I want something, I'm just gonna go get it. You know what I mean?
That's why they say that. That's basically their way of not addressing your point. Like saying you're a shill, you're protecting your early access, you sucking off the devs or whatever. That's their way of avoiding addressing the thing that you're actually saying. Like if you're actually making an intelligent point, if they're one of these people, they're probably too stupid to argue the point. So what they instead want to do is just insult you directly to derail the conversation and make it just an exchange of insults rather than an actual conversation or debate about the topic.
And the second you start going to anything about personal appearance and you're trying to like dispute my point, you lost.
You immediately just lost the argument. Now at that point we're no longer having an argument about the topic. You just lost automatically. So now we're just in a roast battle at that point. At that point, because you've lost the argument. Like that's what it's doing. I can easily have a debate about a specific part of a game, but I've found that most people are not able to do that. they just want to yell. So we'll see, because a lot of people are going to. I feel like a lot of these people that are giving you and Legion everybody shit are definitely going to be playing, especially.
It's weird though, because I haven't seen anybody give me shit. So
in general,
I'm sure they're out there, probably behind closed doors, afraid.
For sure. Like in general, I can feel that the shifting. Like once Miller, it's funny. Once Miller, by the way, we were right. By the way, again, unsurprisingly, the show we did before we went on holiday break, we had Miller on, and we were talking about. But this was before he dropped his article. But we were previewing it, saying, "Yeah, the story leaks about Suicide Squad going around. Those are fake. The original person made it up. Miller has the real leaks. He's going to be dropping an article explaining that the story leaks about the Suicide Squad game going around were mostly fake, and he's going to set the record straight." And we even though we literally had Miller on, we had people in the comments saying, "Oh, no, they're not. They're totally real. You know, I know." And then Miller drops the article, and it just became a fucking ghost town. Like all these Suicide Squad haters, they vanished. They're gone.
I have kind of noticed that. Like, it is kind of funny how that worked out.
Yeah, they had all this energy talking about, "Oh, this is going to be the worst game ever. I can't believe they did this to Batman. Oh, this they hate Batman. This is a terrible. This is, I can't believe it." As soon as that article dropped, nothing, crickets.
Listen, I don't know. I'm not going to say this is going to be like a 10 out of 10. I don't know that it will be, but I think
it's like a 9.9.
But I think something that Caboose tweeted the other day really resonated with me. Like, why can't we just go back to being okay if a game is a 7? Why
now
can't games just be good and enjoyable, not
or
perfect?
decent. Nowadays, like a mid is like a substitute for trash. Like
Yeah.
at this point, a game is either a masterpiece or it's trash.
And like I get it. We all want games to be as good as they can be, right? But like some games are just going to be okay, you know?
and they
And
don't,
that's
and
fine. You
yeah, for
know?
sure. Yeah, they don't have to be. They don't, and it could be disappointing if some games in particular are like hyped up to be, potentially tens and they end up being a 6 or a 7. But every game isn't going to be a home run. Like it's not game development isn't special. Like you can't hit one out the park every time.
And I'm sure Suicide Squad is not going to like win everybody over. There are going to be people that play it that hate it, all right?
For sure.
For real reasons,
Actual
okay?
reasons, for
For
sure.
actual reasons. But like I think at a bare minimum, if you made it through 1,000 days of Marvel's Avengers, you're going to be in heaven. Like, you know,
100%.
I don't know that it's going to be like better than Avengers. I don't know that it like, but I feel like they're going to get all the things right that Avengers didn't. And this is me speculating. This is not based on like my experience with the game. This is me just like being around it and studying it just the same as Sadot.
That's right. That's right. This is not based on me playing a closed alpha and experiencing different features for myself.
Exactly.
This is purely hypothetical based on the publicly available information.
Exactly.
Based on the Suicide Squad Insider episodes, this is us speculating that the key features that people were asking for in Marvel's Avengers, almost all of them are being done correctly in Suicide Squad. That is our assumption.
And not only that, but I feel like they're actually going to be able to keep up with the content, because that was one of the biggest reasons that Marvel's Avengers failed. It wasn't that the game wasn't fun. It had its issues, but I thought it was a really well-made game when it worked right. And if they could have just kept up with new missions, new content, new things to do, the end game loop, if you will,
Yeah, that was
that
the
would
thing.
have been huge.
That's the thing they never nailed. The content that they did have planned was massively delayed because they were behind schedule just in general, but also the pandemic had just started. So the content they had planned was massively delayed. And then the problem is the content they were releasing didn't have much replay value. And they didn't take advantage of the assets that they had to make some kind of loop. So stuff would so basically it just became this pattern where they drop a new update, people would play it for most people would play for 2-3 hours, and then they would bounce back off the game. And then they'd go right back to saying, where's the content? There's no content. And as they lost more and more money, the budget got smaller and smaller, the content output became even more lacking, and that's where it eventually went out. But Suicide Squad seems to have the exact opposite thing going on, allegedly. According, I'm not confirming or denying anything Miller may or may not have shown me about the game's post-launch plans. Like I wanted to talk about specifically the next Suicide Squad Insider episode, because it's going to be diving into the post-launch content. And that's going to be the theme of that particular episode. Now, obviously, me and Jay do have a fair bit of knowledge of certain things involving the post-launch content and the let's say features that are not publicly available that we can't say, but we can speculate reasonably about what we're going to expect to see in that episode. No, based pure speculation. Not based on anything we know for sure. Obviously Jay has to be very careful because he actually signed it, because he actually signed an NDA. and I didn't. But I will say that this particular episode has the potential to win a lot of people over. because there are a lot of questions people have about the live service element still. Like I actually saw someone on Twitter, I think it was Allfather actually. He posted on Twitter that he wanted to know whether or not there would be FOMO on the battle pass, like, you know, because a lot of battle passes you have to you basically are in a rush to finish it. So he wanted to know if Suicide Squad would be a game where you can like essentially pay for the battle pass at your own leisure and complete it whenever you want. So, you know, stuff like that I think have a potential to be answered in that episode. I think that could tie into post launch content. Uh,
I
we
really
don't
feel
know.
like if they can get that right,
I mean,
if
that would
they
be
can,
huge.
like Halo, think about Halo, and we've
Halo did
talked about
that.
this before, right?
Yeah,
Halo does this thing where if you get the battle pass, like it's always yours. Lego 2K Drive does it too. I have it here
yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
but like
That's like the number one complaint about battle
all
passes,
battle passes.
the FOMO.
Mhm.
It is something that more I think more games that do live service stuff should keep in mind if they're going to have a battle pass. And I think Lego Drive and Halo are actually great models to follow, where instead of stressing, you know, every month about can I complete this, you drop your money, and then the stuff in the past is yours whenever you want to complete it.
Dude, I think about like all the money I spent on Destiny 2 and you get the battle passes with the different versions of the game that you get, and how I like literally have gone like full seasons without even opening the game. And like I basically pre-bought a battle pass that I never even used. I hope not just for Suicide Squad, but for any game that has a battle pass, I hope that we can start um, making it a regular thing, normalizing
Yeah,
no FOMO battle passes, because as long as you log on during the season, you get to keep it, you know. And yeah, that does mean that at some point, like, you know, let's use Apex Legends is about to have a new battle pass, right?
right.
They're doing this big crossover with Final Fantasy, and you know, I don't play Apex Legends much anymore because I kept not finishing the battle pass. I don't play the game enough, but I
Exactly.
would absolutely log on during a season and buy the battle pass if I knew I could keep it. And when I am going through my mood of wanting to play Apex Legends, I could be literally stacking 3 battle passes and
Exactly.
unlocking stuff for all of them, you know?
Like that just makes more sense. Like I know FOMO can be tempting, but you're leaving money on the table because you're going to have people who, because of FOMO, are just not going to buy the pack. They're just not going to bother because it's like, well, if I'm not going to play the game that often, like I'm just not going to bother. And there are a lot of casual gamers out there who would happily drop some money and come in at their leisure if you gave them the option, as opposed to only basically catering battle passes to like people who are daily grinders. You know that you would make more money if you gave options to those casuals.
And I think it's even harder for people that are like, I don't know, grown ass adults that work 40 hours a week and have to
Exactly.
commute an hour every day, you know, to and
Is
from like work, you know?
exactly they're exactly like they're not full. You know, like if you're a full if one thing if you're a full-time content creator, you obviously have all the time in the world. But if you're working at like a normal job and you have responsibilities, yeah, you may only have time for like maybe 6 hours of video games a week, maybe. Like, you know, so you're not going to have time to sometimes even less. So you don't, so it'd be just be smart to have an option for those type of people who aren't going to probably aren't going to be able to grind that whole pass immediately. You know, but you obviously would still want their money. So why not, why leave them off the table? Give them that option so that they can play the game at their own pace and you still get their money. Like it's a win-win for everybody.
I really feel like it is. So, and I don't know, you know, there's a lot of other things, you know, like post-launch characters, how that's going to work. You know, the language that they've used is that they're earnable. So
Yeah,
I don't know that they're, because that's something you've criticized a little bit, is like, you know, you really wish they would just charge for the characters, you know, and like then
yeah.
people can, I don't know, man, like
That's me.
I,
That's me thinking about it in terms of like, because I think of stuff like as like when it comes to stuff like a business person and as a consumer. So for me, I would just be like, hey. when it comes to like stuff like playable characters, give me or just content, post-launch content in general, give me a season pass. Give me the option to pay money for it. I'll give you money, and then you just give me the shit when I log in when it's available. I don't want to think, so I don't have to think about it. Say for like the earnables aspects of it, that's for the battle pass. You give you the ability to earn cosmetics as you're playing the game. But for other stuff, missions, characters, just give me the thing, and put it on a nice convenient pass, and I'm good. And you can give people option to buy the stuff individually if they don't want everything as a bundle. But that's just me thinking about it from in terms of like the long-term perspective of the
Right.
game's health, and having that done in a way that also the consumer might not have a problem with. Because one of the problems with Marvel's Avengers is that they didn't make any money because they didn't have enough monetization options. Like the free DLC is a nice pitch, but if the quality of that free content isn't very high, then you're really not reaping the benefits because you're losing money. You're not. They had the worst of both worlds. They weren't gaining a bunch of new players because the quality of the content wasn't high, because they didn't have the budget, because they weren't charging, and the content and then the content itself wasn't replayable enough. So the people who were willing to play it weren't sticking around to buy skins or anything else. So you were spending this money on content that wasn't keeping players around and wasn't enticing enough to make players want to jump on anyway. So they were just losing on all fronts. And I was just like the whole time, just literally just make the game itself free at this point and just charge for the additional content. That way you have extra revenue coming in so that you can afford to spend more money on better quality content, which will in turn get you more players and keep the players that are interested playing longer and looking forward to the next update. But they obviously wouldn't do any of that, and the game ended up shutting down. So my understanding of Suicide Squad is that they actually have a ton of content already to go, so they're not going to have that issue with that Avengers that did, where they have just where the game launches and there's just complete silence for months on end because all their stuff is not available, not delayed, delayed and not done. Whereas Suicide Squad sounds like they're going to be able to hit the ground running, and I think we're going to get several DLC characters. I'm hoping that we get a look at some of them. One character that I've been saying this for a while, but one character I would love to see at some point is Bizarro. I just think that'd just be such a cool idea to have just give us a version of Superman in the open world.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you want, is you just want that Superman.
Pretty much. Obviously,
I'm more
I like
boring.
Deathstroke. I like Deathstroke too. So
Yeah.
but come on, give us that Bizarro. Him would that'd just be crazy.
I bought this.
Of course.
So obviously I like Peacemaker, but when I was in LA, I went to Things from Another World, and I actually saw this at the store there,
Actually,
and
it was cool.
it was so cool, and I'm actually like all on board for wanting Peacemaker, and obviously Deathstroke is my number one most wanted, but like give you Bane, yeah, like there's a lot of great options, right? Like
Reverse Flash with a gun, of course. I mean,
yeah.
that's basically Captain Boomerang. But
Yeah. But like, yeah, like Deathstroke is one of my favorite DC characters. I feel like Peacemaker would be really cool.
Yeah, I feel like Red Hood would be cool. So
I
shout
am
out to
right on
Aqua.
board with Red Hood too.
Red Hood would be very, very cool. Like I feel like Deathstroke should have been on the base roster personally, but
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't know what the thing is, like from what we've seen in trailers especially, and like their officially released stuff. I don't think Deathstroke is funny enough to be part of that group. So like, and I know Deadshot isn't necessarily, but you can't have
Is it?
more than one like deadpan character.
Yeah, but I
And I
mean,
think they were obviously, Deadshot, Will Smith in the first Suicide Squad.
yeah,
You've got Harley obviously from the first Suicide Squad. You got Boomerang, and then there's, I know King Shark came in the second one, but I just feel like
I
I
would
can
personally,
understand
I personally rather have Deathstroke than Boomerang. Than
Deadshot.
Deadshot. I'd rather have
Yeah,
Deadshot as a DLC that
I can see that.
and have Deathstroke on the base roster.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like lots of like, I mean, we got Lobo, Bloodsport, all those characters. Yeah, there's no like, and that's the thing that I'm excited about for Suicide Squad. And again, I feel like I have to preface this by saying both Sadot and I would 100 times out of 100 rather play as the Justice League than kill them. But the one really cool thing I do like about this game is it's opening up the option and opportunity to play as a bunch of characters that we probably never would have been in a position to play in this game. Because look, James Gunn is taking over DC. You know
Mhm.
he's going to have some kind of a Justice League game. God only knows what WB Games Montreal is working on,
Of
but we
course,
do know that WB's like their plan right now, their strategy, their roadmap,
all right.
their strategy right now is to focus on the properties that they own. So you know that their studios are going to be pumping out games based on DC Comics because that's something they don't have to license. That's something that they can, it's pure profit for them basically.
That's straight from the mouth of the CEO.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, obviously, we've got the Wonder Woman game we do know about. Obviously, Rocksteady's going to probably be on Suicide Squad for a while.
Yep.
I don't know that they really are going to start something else anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Though James Gunn did say that the plan is to have more Arkhamverse games, but
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean Rocksteady has to be the ones to make it. I mean, after all,
and it
we
also
had
doesn't necessarily mean Batman.
yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, the Gotham Knights developers did Arkham Origins, and which is technically an Arkham game, but it didn't have, even though it didn't have Kevin Conroy, but they could always have another studio do any of these games, and obviously the biggest game coming up, of course, is the recently announced Ready Player One metaverse game that WB just announced that they're doing. They're pairing with this company to recreate basically Ready Player One and let you jump into the metaverse as your favorite WB IP character, which with
Well,
a
I don't know if you've seen this too. I know we all forgot about it, but multiverses, that's going to leverage all their characters when it eventually
officially
comes back. There's
officially
been a
released.
lot of yeah, there's been a lot of stuff coming out. Some partnership with McDonald's apparently is happening
Yeah,
in
I saw
Europe.
they has yeah, I saw they had some alternate Harley outfit.
Yeah, Harley, Wonder Woman, and Garnett, I think, had alternate
Mm,
outfits. So I'm wondering what that's going to be all about. But like, yeah, that's WB's plan. And I know people like to like talk shit about Zaslav, and I know they like to like make fun of the fact that some of the decisions he's made. But like, they were in massive debt. Okay,
still
like
are, but
still
they're
are,
less so.
and he's doing everything that he can to get them out of it, and that is why they're going to like leverage these situations where they own Harry Potter and they own DC Comics and they own all these properties, and they're going to like start working more with them. So I'm excited for the future of DC comic games. I have a feeling, and I don't know anything, this is pure speculation,
Pure
but
speculation.
I have a feeling, after we've got the Suicide Squad and the Wonder Woman, that we're going to start getting into those bucket list characters that everybody's always hoping for, and that's going to be a Superman game. That like I feel like James Gunn gets that, like Superman is the leader of his whole new universe.
No,
Like
that's
that's
why he
what
started. That's why he
e-
started the movie. That's the first movie.
exactly. Exactly.
He,
And like I feel like that's what like he's gonna like. I feel like there's got to be a Superman game.
I feel like
And
Zaslav basically confirmed it on that call, on
yeah, yeah.
that early call
And I don't
that
know who would be making
they're
it,
playing Superman game.
but
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Whether that, I mean, that might be the game WB Games Montreal is doing, but somebody is doing a Superman game.
yeah. And then you feel like a Justice League game, even if it's not just Superman, if they did do a Justice League game that was kind of like Suicide Squad or Marvel's Avengers or whatever you want to say, where it's that co-op, kind of game, like that would be great. My other pitch, and this is actually funny. I don't remember her name, but she works for WB in general, and we met in Montreal, and like we had this great conversations, everything. She's a pretty big muckety muck. She was talking about how she previously worked for Netflix and was in charge of all the Marvel properties, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we took Charlie and Catherine down to in Mike Coulter down to Brazil to their big expo," and it was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, this is crazy." But like, I saw her in LA when I was there, and when they were bringing up the pitch, she goes, "Oh yeah, you want Green Lantern?" And I was like, "No, no, it was Batman Ninja." She's like, "No, you talked to me about Green Lantern." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did do that too. That's right." Because I pitched like a Green Lantern game where it's kind of like along the lines of what you would do with that rumored Black Panther game where create your own Green Lantern and you work with all the Lantern Corps. Like there's so many great possibilities that they can do. And I think that we're going to start getting into that. You know what I mean?
100%. Like I would love a Green Lantern. Green Lantern is one of my obviously John Stewart is the best.
I'm a Hal guy.
Of course you are.
Listen,
But
I don't even care. I just want my Atrocitus boss battle, right? Like I want a Green Lantern game. I know I'm not gonna be able to play as Atrocitus, but I would love to fight him.
fair.
I mean hold on. I don't know if I can point my. Oh, all right. He dropped out. Pardon the mess. Yeah, I can't. Hold on. Let me pull it out. You can see on my wall, maybe. There's like, yeah, the light's in the way. Sorry. So Sadot just had to drop out. He'll be right back. But I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I love all the different lanterns, but especially I'm a Red Lantern fan. So yeah, while I'm trying to kill time while Sadot's rebooting, let me show you guys something. All right, I've got an unboxing video going live tomorrow on my channel. I got this brand new Darth Revan statue.
I'd rather is never going to happen.
And yeah, I know, but Sadot's back, so we can. Yeah. Anyway,
I do like the idea of this kind of open world Green Lantern game that takes place in space, where you create your own Green Lantern and they have like a full. I want this to be like a. I'm sure you didn't make this pitch, but I'm going to give you the better version of it. So it
wasn't a long pitch.
Yeah, basically Baldur's Gate 3, but Green Lantern, and you have not turn-based, but not turn-based combat, but you have the Baldur's Gate 3 type of character customization, so you can do human, aliens, and you can and each type comes with different traits, innate traits and skills, so it actually matters what kind of character, what kind of lantern you build, and you have these big branching story possibilities and everything like that. But it's real-time combat, it's open world, exploration, primarily taking place in space. You have different you have a set number of explorable planets that you can go to as part of the story. In your sector, you have basically you'll be assigned a sector and a primary planet, and that'll be your duty, and you have a bunch of stories related to that. I think that game would be crazy.
Yeah, I would love a Green Lantern game. Like I have the Ryan Reynolds movie game.
Of
It
course.
was interesting.
Better than the movie.
Listen, I'm a Ryan Reynolds
I
fanboy.
love Ryan Reynolds. That movie sucked.
Yeah. It was not a great movie, but I think it's better than people give it credit for. I for some reason have 3 copies of it. I don't know why.
I mean, he really loves Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I like got one for Christmas one year, and I don't
Yeah,
know what happened, man.
I get it though. I feel like Ryan Reynolds makes a normally
Everything better.
unwatchable movie watchable.
Yeah.
I was like I literally watched that Red Notice movie on Netflix with The
Oh,
Rock, Gal Gadot, and Ryan
I didn't
Reynolds.
watch that.
It's a terrible movie, but because it had Ryan Reynolds and Rock and Gal Gadot being hot, it was entertaining.
Oh, let me tell you. He did a movie with Sandra Bullock. The Proposal.
Love that movie.
The closest I think she's ever come to a nude scene in a movie. And like total rom-com, but great movie.
Jay loves a good rom-com.
I mean, I never knew that Sandra Bullock was as hot as she was until that.
I was always a fan of Sandra Bullock's acting. I always looked at her as
Yeah.
like a mother figure.
Right.
That's or Auntie Sandra. I never objectified her like Jay did.
Right.
But
I agree. But then that movie came out and she had that towel scene and it changed my life.
Did not change mine, but yeah, no, you can't call me racist because I 100% have been leading the Madam Web movie fan club ever since the trailer came out. Ever since they announced that Sydney Sweeney was going to be in it, I have been cheerleading for this movie the entire time.
Filmed some of that in Worcester. I tried driving down by where they were filming, but all I saw was like some of the like setup stuff.
So you didn't see anything good?
No. I mean they've filmed like Massachusetts has some like tax program for making movies in the state. So you'll see a lot of stuff get made here. It's kind of crazy. There's actually some of Black Panther was filmed in Worcester. I don't know what not Black Panther, the second one. Wakanda Forever.
Oh, the shitty.
I think some of like the chase scene where they're on the college campus.
Oh, that one.
I think that was filmed at WPI, Worcester Polytech Institute.
I think Jay was actually an extra in that one.
No, I mean I wish. So I the one that I always remember, what was the movie American Hustle?
Yeah, I remember
that movie, a bunch of that was filmed in Worcester.
Worcester. No. Now
I remember driving downtown. There's like an old theater, and they had the marquee all set up, and it was like an advertisement for Richard Pryor, like having a comedy show or something.
Yeah, I feel like more places should kind of would make sense to kind of give those incentives, because if I wanted to film on location for a movie, I obviously Worcester would be my primary choice.
No, Worcester is a dump.
I was somewhere cool like Miami, so I'd be wondering. So you would think that more of these cities with like as maybe additional revenue would be like, hey, you know what? Come down here, let me give you a deal.
I think that's why there are incentives to come to Massachusetts. Because listen, I've lived in Worcester most of my life. It's old, it's run down. I mean, they are starting to like revitalize some of it. But like it's old and it looks old, it's run down. I mean, Boston is not that pretty either. So
maybe you should bring some attention to it by starting a riot at a mall and starting rumors that aliens invaded.
Yeah.
I was curious what your take on this situation was, because it's gone very, very viral.
I barely saw it before. I saw this before we came on. I honestly don't have.
Yeah, so basically there was And to be fair, like this is actually kind of an insane police presence. Uh, at one point, you know, minus the X-Files music. Now people are saying this is like they. The one thing I need to know, because it's so weird, is that how come every time there's something like alien related, it's never in 4K or even HD. Like this, granted, that is an insane amount of police cars for what the official story is, that there were a group of rowdy teenagers in the mall, and they got into a fight, and they were shooting off fireworks, and as a result, you see all these police cars, this obscene amount of police cars
Yeah,
show up.
I mean, there has to be somebody that was like everybody's got their phone out, now.
And
So
no one got a video. Like literally, the only video I've seen of this area is this, which is the top down view of all the police cars and a very blurry something on the steps, and a video in a separate area, but in the same place, in the same location, but not at the mall, where a group of like 20 black teenagers jumped this one white guy on the street, and they ran away. That's the only clear video I've seen of this entire alleged incident, where apparently there were 10-foot shadow aliens walking around the mall causing trouble or something. I don't believe it. I feel like somebody just randomly started. Maybe they did it sarcastically, like I'm and they social media just ran with it as a meme. But I feel like because I was listening to the dispatcher report, and they reported on the report over the dispatch was that it was potentially a terrorist attack. So I think that's what happened. So I think that's why I think a bunch of uh teenagers exhibiting fatherless behavior were starting trouble at a mall, like has been kind of the case throughout the country, and particularly in major cities. And they set off some fireworks, and people thought it was a shooting, and that's why you got the police response. That's the logical explanation. They were fighting in the mall. They shot off some fireworks that people mistook for weapons. So they called the police and reported it as like a potential bomb threat or a shooting or something like that. And that's why you got this oversized police response. Because they're right. There wouldn't be this big police response if it was just fighting. But because of the reports of the fireworks, I'm thinking, okay, somebody probably reported it as a shooting, and everyone just and they just obviously wanted to make sure that they over responded, because this is a major area. I think that's literally just it. Because there's not a single image. That is what I think is weird. That thing is the weirdest part of this. There's not a single image there's no mall footage. There were obviously people in the mall, right? They're filming TikToks, filming just the film.
just whipping your phone out when something starts happening.
Just not no one. Not there's not that's the only suspicious thing to me here. No one, not a single person in the mall when this happened was able to film anything.
Yeah.
Like we only have footage from outside the mall. we can see the police. This is the only footage I've seen. No one has any footage from inside the mall.
All right. Well, those cops right there, we need to like FOIA their body cam footage.
Yeah, where that body cam at? Let me see that dash cam. I know they got cameras on the car, on the front of the police cars, and on send me that, or just literally just someone who was in the food court, somebody who was in the mall at the time. Put the dates together, figure out when this was supposedly happened, and go through your phone and find me some footage from the day, because I can't imagine, like, we're in the social media era. We're in the area where malls are basically basically film studios for TikTok content creators at this point. Like, you can't tell me nobody has footage from inside that mall. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. I don't know about aliens, but something happened in the mall, and I know it's probably a fight. I know someone has footage. Like, I don't believe it.
Oh! I might have found it.
You might got some actual footage inside the mall.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, because I know somebody had to have something.
Okay. Let's share screen window. All right, here we go.
That's a TikTok. Okay. Here we go, folks. First encounter. There you go. Aliens confirmed.
I had to set it up with the end screen to lead into the
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Like, eventually I feel like somebody is going to actually post some footage, and we're going to find out, oh, nothing happened. It just some teenagers fighting, and that's going to be the end of it. But some footage that I think is definitely clear is this fight scene between Daredevil and Echo from Disney's Echo, which drops next week. So this was posted on television as promo, apparently. Now, people thought I felt like I had to be gaslit or something, because in my opinion, this looks like dog shit. And a lot of people agree. But they had people insisting that no, this is actually a great fight scene. And I wanted to make sure that I'm not going crazy here, and I can even slow down some parts for you to show you why. Like, I did it because I did a live stream where I was just kind of talking about some stuff, and I reacted to this, and I watched it in real time and was like, oh, this fight scene looks like shit. And then I slowed it down and was like, now it really looks like shit, and this is exactly why it looks like shit. But maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe it's a masterpiece. We'll have Jay watch along and react to the Echo Daredevil fight scene. This is a younger Echo. They're going at it. See, Echo is having a hard time, as expected. Now, here's my thing.
Okay, before you say that, okay, because this is my first time seeing this.
This is Jay's first time seeing it,
and I just want to see if, without influence,
without any influence.
if I'm possibly having the same opinion as you. It seems like a lot of punches were pulled and they didn't film it at the right angle. Is that like it looks like it looks
exactly.
All right, that's okay. I honestly had read nothing about it, had seen nothing about it. I feel like that could have been better if the angles were adjusted, and like it just felt like it was in slow motion, and I felt like I was watching them not make contact.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna slow it down too, because it's actually way worse.
Oh boy.
But that's my essential problem was not that the choreography was bad,
right?
Because I described it as rehearsal footage, because
because
I said the choreography is, it's not that the choreography is bad, it's that the execution is terrible. It looks like they were literally doing a walkthrough trying to learn the timing, and instead of waiting for them to actually learn the timing, they just kept it and printed it, because there are literally several instances where they completely missed a cue. There are a lot of hits that were supposed to land that aren't, and the problem is that they try to film it like the hallway scene from the show, to because they obviously want to recreate that. But the problem with that is, and the reason why MCU fight scenes typically have a ton of cuts, is because you have to be really good to film a fight scene where you're not cutting, because you can't hide the misses or mistakes or anything like that if you have no cuts. Like, you have to not only have great choreography, you have to have great execution, so great stunt people, and you really have to know what you're doing, because especially with the camera work, because if you're just filming continuously and you have the execution like we just saw here, it's going to look bad, and it's actually worse. So I'm gonna slow it down a little. I'm gonna slow it down so you can kind of see the issue here, and why, if you're not going to like try, you don't try to film with no cuts. So you're going to see a lot of hits not with not connecting at all.
With
didn't land at all. That kick flies backward.
And I feel like that's one that like wouldn't hurt that much.
Yeah, like it looks really bad. Like some of them, like some of the stuff looks alright, but a lot of the kicks and hits aren't landing, and some of it makes no sense. Like he does a double baton strike, and like the outsized reactions make it look even more ridiculous, especially when they're barely making contact. Like, look at this kick she gives him. like it does nothing. Like, this is where it gets really bad. All right, she gets on the ground. Look how awkward this is. He could just crack her in the head.
Doesn't she IRL have one leg? I mean,
yeah. But what is the purpose of this?
She's trying to kick him.
How is this a kick? Look at this. She slowly rolls over and places her leg on him. He hits it.
But he's better than her at fighting. So of course he telegraphed it and caught it.
He completely telegraphed it, like, in the worst way possible. But it doesn't do anything.
Well, because he hit her in her metal leg.
And then she flips over, and look at this.
Actually, it is true. That is her metal leg. Yep. I can see it.
Now, the timing was she was supposed to flip over and kick him in the head, but they mistimed it. So he has to wait for her. That's why she pauses too.
Yeah, that part was really weird. That part was really weird.
She literally had to wait for her. She literally had to pause. You can even see it in real time. Like, it's very weird that he hit her in her middle leg too, by the way. But she pauses, waits for him so she could do the kick, and then he can pretend to get it.
No, but she was just gaining momentum. Oh, that was a whiff punch too.
Now this is where it gets egregiously bad. Okay. Now this is the one realistic part was when he got tackled, but this gun part is hilarious. Okay, so she escapes, goes to the fence. So this is the way this is supposed to play out. Is she's supposed to run in, close the gate behind her, grab the shotgun, try to shoot him. He's supposed to kick it out of her hand. So she's already got the gun loaded. He's at the top of the fence. She could just shoot him right now.
Kaplow.
He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
Still dead. Still dead. Still dead. She aims away from him intentionally. She literally points to the left while he's flipping in the air. She points to the left and fires the gun She's supposed to have it forward, and he was because he's supposed to do a. He's supposed. You'll see in a minute. He's supposed to be doing a front flip kick to knock the gun out of her hand, but because the timing is off, she has to point the gun away from him so that it could go off, and then he's supposed to kick it out of her hand, but she pulls the gun back too early, so he misses the kick, and then she puts the gun on the ground. Because he's supposed to kick it out of her hand. So like, watch when she comes back up, she's unarmed. Because she was supposed to.
I feel like she'd have been better off even just keeping her hand and swinging the gun at him.
Yeah, but she put the gun on the floor because he was supposed to kick it out of her hand. But
why would you use this? Like, I feel like was this like the best take?
This could have been. This could. I mean, if it was the best take, holy shit! But that's what I'm saying. Like this to me, like I'm not going. We're not crazy. That's clearly not finished. Like that's clearly they didn't know the rehearsal. They didn't. That wasn't a good take. That just wasn't a good take. That was like a practice take that they for some reason filmed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
They spent millions of dollars on this. That's weird.
That's weird to me. I'm just gonna turn my brain off, okay? I'm just gonna get through that scene. I'm gonna say, all right, listen, she has one leg, she's deaf. Let's just give her a break.
Let's give her a break. I'm not gonna
and god damn it, Daredevil can't even see. I mean, that's a miracle if we're being honest.
I mean, he can see.
Stop picking on handicapped people. Bigot.
I'm pick. You know who the real biggest are? Actually, no bullshit. Disney, because this is a show where they were supposed to showcase an indigenous woman with special needs, and instead of giving it the care and attention it deserves, they decided to just half-ass it and make it look like it's low quality, which is going to cause people to associate diversity with low quality material. So shame on Disney for not taking indigenous people seriously. Shame on them.
Hey, do you want to never fly again?
I don't think I've flown since I was a child, so I'm not going to miss it.
An Alaskan Airlines flight was forced to make an emergency landing at Portland International Airport after a window blew out midair, passengers say.
That doesn't look like a window blowout. That looks like that Twilight Zone episode where the monster was on the side of the plane.
Yeah, so that's a quick way to I wish I wasn't doom scrolling through Twitter as you were explaining that, and I didn't see that. I think I'm gonna respond.
Still not going to stop.
Are you
Jay
familiar with Khalif Adams? Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
So two things I want to laugh about. He's the one that quote tweeted that, and his new name on Twitter is Khalif Ride for My Naysayers Adams. So that's why I'm also laughing.
Ride for my naysayers. Oh my god! Shout out to all my naysayers in the chat. No, but speaking of Doom and Daredevil, we got a scoop here. This is apparently going to be the villain of Daredevil Born Again, Muse. So Daredevil Born Again, for those that forgot, officially the Netflix series officially confirmed as canon, but they filmed, I think, 8 episodes, and then before they scrapped the whole thing because it was apparently trash. Yeah, so they filmed a bunch of episodes of Daredevil Born Again, and after reviewing it, they were just like, "No," and they fired the writers, fired the director, started over, and filming reportedly is going to resume in February, and so right now we have a scoop that the main villain of the series is going to be Muse. So obviously not as famous as a Deadshot or a Bullseye or a Punisher or Kingpin, but
Scarface
yeah,
or
but
Jigsaw, I should say. Jigsaw.
he is kind of a cool villain. So he's basically a serial killer slash artist. He's an artist who incorporates actual murder into his art, and he's actually pretty strong. He has an ability. He has. I'm not sure if they're how closely they're going to adapt him from his comic book, but he's really strong. He can like literally rip people in half. He's very extremely fast, and he has some kind of ability to where it makes it hard to perceive him, which even makes it difficult for even Daredevil to like always pinpoint him. So so depending on how and he just looks cool. I think he has a cool design, but he has some potential to be like a really cool villain depending on how they portray him and build this out. Having Daredevil investigate this series of brutal murders and abductions, tied to this artist. I think that'd be a cool little run.
Yeah, I've honestly never heard of this guy, so
Yeah,
I was looking it up.
yeah, he's not a massive villain, but but as we saw with Spider-Man PS4 with Mr. Negative, even the B list villain, if portrayed correctly, you can get some great results out of that.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
if the basic,
I listen, he sounds interesting. That's certainly for sure. No,
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm used to Jay knowing like every comic character.
Yeah, I just found out today that Keith Gillum passed away in October. He was a co-creator of Rocket Raccoon, Lobo, and Jaime Reyes, Blue
Rest
Beetle.
rest in power.
And he also happened to write my favorite comic book run of all time, which is Annihilation,
Of course.
which
Love you.
is just it like gave birth to the modern Guardians of the Galaxy. It's why I became such a big fan of Nova. Yeah,
Jay always talks about Annihilation.
I do. I really do. Like like literally like I always loved comics, but like Annihilation is really what sucked me back into comics. Shut up.
That pause was crazy.
I don't even think I paused that long. You're making this up.
That pause was wild, bro. like, you didn't have to you could have transitioned that a lot faster, bro. He was like, man, he was like, that sucked me. He was like, that sucked me.
I hate you.
I
quit. No, but seriously, Annihilation is such a great story. It's basically like it's how Richard Rider became the Nova. And it brings together the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a really great story about Drax and how he gets there. It's a great story about Rocket and Groot and how they get there. It's a great story about Gamora and how she gets there, and they all kind of come together, end of the galaxy stuff. Ryder has some I guess I know it's like a 15 it's probably almost 20 years old at this point story, but like it's great. Thanos is in it.
I mean, those are basically the only Marvel comics that are selling these days. Like the older issues for the most part. So you might as well definitely check them out, especially if you like the Guardians, because I really enjoyed obviously the James Gunn Guardian movies, but when I played the Guardians game, I was like, oh, this is way better, and I think that's because the Guardians game, tried to more closely look at the source material, and especially when it comes to the portrayal of Drax. I thought I never really liked Drax in the MCU. I thought
Right.
I just don't like the whole himbo thing where you just have the goofy stupid guy, and
He's not that at all.
yeah, and I thought the Guardians game actually really did an amazing job, because because Drax in the MCU is literally just a joke character, but but you find out, actually he's like this extreme badass. Like he literally was designed to kill Thanos.
Exactly. Drax the Destroyer. He was born to kill Thanos. Yep.
Yeah,
And
and you don't get that at all in the MCU. Like it's just like, no, he's just a comic relief.
yeah, and he is definitely very like uh the aspect of him being like not really dumb, but like
He
very
just doesn't.
focused.
Yeah, like he has a very narrow focus, and he doesn't understand like new certain lang- linguistic nuances, especially from
Yeah.
someone from Earth, who speak.
Yeah, it there is like a omnibus that collects the whole thing on like on all the side stories. I'm sure you could probably find it on sale now, but like I know it's like $125, but to get the original graphic novels, it's like insane how much they've gone up in price. But it's it's like honestly the thing I love about it is like it made me fall in love with Cosmic Marvel because it was like there was War of Kings and there was Realm of Kings and then there was Annihilation,
And
and it
ranking of
was like
kings
they what
and ranking of kings.
yeah, they all kind of blended together, and like if you just go through that whole run, it's some of the like best like Marvel stories I think they've ever done.
Yeah, it makes me think, kind of what if, because there's some comic stories that are goofy, but I feel like there are so many great comic adaptations, especially for Marvel, that would have been so good if they were like faithfully adapted onto the screen. And I'm just sad that we may never like get that, because
Yeah,
there's so
I
many
don't.
missed opportunities.
Annihilation would end up being like an Endgame, like a Infinity War Endgame style movie, like because you can't really do it over one movie. I mean, it was like 3 graphic
Yeah.
novels just to build it
Like,
together just for that.
I feel the MCU at some point needs like a hard reboot, and
Yeah, I don't
and
disagree.
and to start from the ground up with more like faithful comic book adaptations, and 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 I think they could match or even exceed potentially the success that they had initially. Because looking forward, the future does seem weird. Like this story just came out from an insider giving us a preview of potentially the roster for Avengers 5.
Yeah,
And it's I mean, this is that Tony Stark face is what a lot of people are making. That's what
right.
a lot of people looking at were when they read that list of potential roster members. But I mean, look at it. It has some interesting names on there, but I don't know, I was going over this the other day, and this is from shout out to Alex, who's a popular insider, and he's saying as of right now, a potential look at the roster would would be would be this. And so that's Captain America, Captain America, which is Sam Wilson, not Steve. That's Captain America. That's
Why is
Sam
Falcon
Wilson,
there? Oh, the new Falcon.
the new Falcon. Who is the Torres, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he
so
was in
yeah,
Top Gun.
he was in Top Gun. Yeah, I think he was in Top Gun Maverick. He was in I know he was in they introduced him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right, right.
But yeah, basically the Spanish guy, he'll be playing the new Falcon. Sam Wilson is going to be the new Captain America. Then you got Captain Marvel, potentially the Hulk coming back. Then you got Wong, because Doctor Strange is currently in another dimension with Clea. You have Valkyrie as a replacement for Thor. then you have Shang-Chi and Katie, like his sidekick,
Why?
Aquafina from who's apparently that's a thing now. Like she learned how to she learned how to shoot a bow at the end of the movie, and now she's going to be an Avenger apparently. And
Why
then
would why would
Ant-Man and the
Valkyrie
Wasp.
be there and not Thor? Like Thor didn't die.
Yeah,
He,
my guess would be because she's the new king of Asgard, and he's like, running a daycare right now. He's a
yeah, that's just not gonna work. Like that's great value Avengers, and I like a lot of those characters, but like they can't be the group. Like it's real tough to look at that group and feel the same way you felt about Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Like just those two alone.
yeah, absolutely. Like they don't even have the Stark. They only have a Stark replacement there. They the Ironheart. They don't have the Black
Like
Widow replacement in
I feel like
Yelena.
Captain Marvel is kind of the Stark replacement in a way.
Mm, nah, I mean not.
Not like a
Yeah,
shot for shot, but
yeah.
like I feel like she's like Sam obviously takes the Steve role, and Carol takes the Tony role.
But I don't even see that because she's not a leader. She's not whippy. Like I see it's weird. Like I don't even see how that's like I can see Wong really having kind of the Tony role, but just less antagonistic, or yeah, maybe, yeah, because he's I don't know. This is a weird one. Like I feel like in this movie, Captain Marvel is going to be just going to be serious face the whole time and punching things. Like like they never give her any like personality in any of
What do
her
you mean? She
adaptations.
just had she was in the song verse. She sang and wore
Like
a gown
yeah,
for all the people that didn't see that movie.
yeah, she was a Disney princess at one point. Like
Yeah.
the only part of that movie where there was a chance of her having like real character development was when Kabbalah stopped her fangirling for a second and was confronted with the reality that Captain Marvel, was potentially responsible for countless atrocities and may not be quite the hero that she thought. And then like they just got over it like 3 seconds later. Like, oh, let's not delve into that. Let's keep moving. We got cats to look at. We can't have any serious character development or emotional tension or anything like that.
Yeah, but like so here's the thing, like they obviously would have to like advance her character a little bit. Like in the comics, she is very much a leader, and that goes back to what Sadat said. They need to be more you know, more true to their characters. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's also the question of, I mean, is she even coming back? Like, is like because obviously he said this list is not the final list, and things could change, especially since Avengers 5 could end up getting delayed. But even then, like, is Carol actually going to come back? Like, is Brie Larson coming back as Cap? Is
It depends on what her contract was, I guess. I don't know. I feel like, and I like Sam Wilson, but I just feel like it's not Avengers if you don't have Iron Man and like, like to me that's what the Avengers is,
they don't even
and
have
Steve
Spider Man.
Rogers.
They don't even have Spider Man.
But like Spider-Man isn't really an Avenger. Like Spider-Man is famously like the only person that ever quit the Avengers. You know, like
But
he
but at least we saw him at one point with
with
the
the Avengers.
with
Yeah,
he was one of the highlights of Civil War, and
yeah.
he's not going to be anywhere on this movie because obviously they have to apparently they're going to do it after Spider-Man 4. Personally, so maybe he'll be in Avengers 6.
All right, I'll be right back.
There, he'll well while Jay's peeing, I'll continue to shit on the MCU. No, I have high hopes for some of these potential Avengers projects, but yeah, not this roster is oof, it's a rough one. Uh, Don Geo coming. coming through with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Don Gio. Make sure you get yourself a nice round of applause for that. Sorry, guys, but this roster is a major L at this point. Just reboot because I only care for Spider-Man and nothing else for the MCU now. Shares Rob's reporting on the Geek News. Here's $10. I appreciate that. Yeah, so what looks like is happening is they're gonna have a World War Hawk movie because that's why Hawk is on this apparently. They're gonna have the plot. The plot is the weird thing because they've obviously had to do a lot of reshuffling because of the situation with Kang and Jonathan Majors. You know, there was talk that they aren't going to do Kang Dynasty potentially. Now it looks like they may just recast the Jonathan Majors role, but there's still a lot of question marks about how they're going to do that Kang Dynasty, or the Secret Wars is still a go, but those Avengers movies are still very much up in the air. They are doing the World War Hawk movie, not because they finally got the film rights back to make full Hawk movies, because before they were tied up with Universal. That's why they could have Hawk appear in like shows and movies, but they couldn't have too much of them because they didn't have the rights. Now they have the full rights, so they're going to do a full World War Hawk movie, and reportedly it's going to be like an Avengers, a lower tier, a lower level Avengers type of movie. And we could if it is even somewhat faithful to the World War Hawk storyline. I know they changed a ton in the MCU already from that World War Hawk story, but if it's a little bit like it, then we could see the Hawk fight other members of the Avengers and other superheroes. So we could potentially see some more interesting cameos before they team up. But this is still supposedly heading towards a showdown with the Council of Kangs and everything. And you know that's those Kangs are not going to be played by Jonathan Majors. There's current rumors that Domingo from Walking Dead is potentially going to be on one of the short lists to potentially replace Kang. I was hearing rumors that potentially Kang might end up getting pushed to the side in favor of the Beyonder as like a surprise addition, and then they'll use that to bring in Doctor Doom. But there's a lot up in the air about the future. I mean, especially with this news about the Sentry. We just had news that Stephen Yeun was supposedly cast to play the Sentry. Now he's out.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Like, I like him as an actor. Don't get me wrong. I just
great
did
actor.
not like him as
he's not the Sentry. He's not the Sentry. So I don't know if that means Sentry is not going to be a part of the Thunderbolts movie. I think they still are going to go that route, but it won't be. But if it is, it won't be Stephen Yeun in the role.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. It's just uninspiring to me.
It is like, yeah, just looking at this roster, like, yeah, I definitely like some of these characters, but just in practice, it's like, especially Wong and Katie, like especially Katie, like in like Shang-Chi, whatever, but Katie, why?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like you would have her just in the background. You know what I mean? Like, I understand. Yeah. Oh, we gotta have Awkwafina in there for the comic relief, you know.
But she wasn't funny. That's the thing.
I just laughed one time
in that movie.
Yeah, like I felt like that was like, I'm generally annoyed by Awkwafina in general, and she plays the same character in like every movie. But like that was like the least annoying I felt like she was. I thought she was actually decent in Shang-Chi.
She was decent. She was decent as a sidekick, but Wong was like the only funny one in the movie. It's just like, it just wasn't.
Yeah,
it just wasn't it. It was not hitting. And for those wondering, I know a lot are wondering why Kamala Khan isn't on this list. I feel you. So the plan is that they're going to try to go forward with a Young Avengers project. and that right now would currently be Kamala, Kate Bishop, and Cassie Lang. Ironheart as well, assuming she has a future in the MCU. I don't know what they're doing with her show.
So 4 girls.
Yeah.
And then that one kid that Sam Wilson met for like 5 minutes, probably be the Patriot.
Yeah, I don't remember that kid. I would assume they did introduce Kid Loki though at one point, so I thought they might try that. The only other potential member they did touch. Banner did technically introduce his son at the She-Hulk barbecue, so they could throw in there. But basically, from what I know right now, what they established, the Young Avengers right now would be Kamala, Cassie, Ironheart, Kate Bishop, and America Chavez.
The MCU.
You bigot. He said it. Bigot.
Texas. Bigot. Like let's get it all there. No, I don't necessarily hate the idea of that. Honestly, I feel like Kamala and Kate together would just be great in general.
Yeah, Kamala is amazing. Just amazing. Like anytime you want a Mom Benali in something, I'm there. Like she's a great actress, and even though I thought Hawkeye was absolute dog shit, I don't think it was because of Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
I thought Haley did a really good job in the role. I thought she was a great Kate, but I thought the show itself was just utter dog water.
Oh, I actually saw something on my Discord that Free Willy Rocks posted earlier, and I thought you might like it.
Ooh.
I have to.
Is it Rule 34 material?
It's a picture. So
Okay.
I don't know where he went, but he went to some Comic-Con, and
some Funkos.
Yeah, they're all Jujutsu Kaisen.
Those are Jujutsu Kaisen. I see Sukuna. Oh yeah, there's Megami. Yep, that's there's Gojo up top.
And I like the caption. It says, "Nah, I'd win." I don't know what that means though, but I figured you would understand it.
That's the caption.
Yeah,
I don't know the context, but
I can't read some of the other ones. But anyway,
it's just me, or I just don't like the look of Funko Pops.
I mean, they're simple. I like the package. Of course, I don't have any handy, but I love getting. I don't like autographs in general. Like I don't usually care about autographs, but I love getting the Funko Pop signed because I just feel like it's such a nice little package.
Yeah, Jay's as we established earlier, Jay's a big fan of packages. Can't get enough of them.
I walked into that one.
Walk right into.
This is bothering me. Why am I on the right? Can we fix that?
Phrasing, Jay.
Oh, there we go. I can. You're always on the right. I'm always on the left. It just bothers me.
Right. Perfectly reasonable. Jay wants to stay on the far left. He's woke.
That's okay. Anyway,
he wants people to think he's woke, but we know the truth.
Yeah,
we know how you feel about the MCU. You said it, but I'm just generally not a fan. Like when it comes to the collectible figures, I like the natural anime figures. They have some really cool looking statues. I like those. I like the realistic ones, like the Funkos. They just look like shitty chibi characters. Yeah, I like chibi designs in anime, but I feel like the Funko version of the Western chibi thing is just it just looks trash. I just don't like it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Don coming through with the super chat. Stop.
We're fighting over it.
Stop it, Jay. Cassie Lang is my favorite Young Avenger. Mad respect. of her taking on Doctor Doom on her own, but this MCU version will tell not to be a dick. Yeah, appreciate that, Don, for the 5. Yeah, it is sad because she was a great character in Ant-Man 1 and 2, and even that brief scene in Endgame where he got to see her for the first time growing up, that was a nice little touching thing. But yeah, in Ant-Man 3, it just made her completely unlikable as a as a character.
Yeah.
I was not. I mean, the whole movie I thought was terrible, but yeah, in general, I thought I just did not do a service to casting like character. I don't. I thought the recasting was weird, and the writing was just awful. Like she was just like a completely different person and not a person that we're interested. I'll be interested in following as a hero. So I hope they change that the next time we see her, because we did grow up like liking the character, from the first Ant-Man, but now it's like if that's going to be her, using Pym Tech to break up to break up police from stopping the homeless or whatever. I'm just like I don't I don't care. Like I don't want activist Cassie. I just want cat I just want a good version of Cassie Lang who's not constantly shitting on her father for no reason and just being completely irresponsible. Like it's just weird.
Cosign.
The whole thing was just weird. Like I don't care that they just pretended that she's been a genius this whole time as much, but that was also weird. But it's just like at least make your characters likable. like that's the bare minimum.
Yeah, I don't understand how they keep missing the mark after doing so well for so long. I just feel like, well, we know how it is because they keep just like picking people that they're like, "Oh, I want this person because they fit this, you know, profile." And or they've done good stuff before and they could just, make this project and they're good at other stuff and maybe they'll be good at this.
That's
And
definitely.
oh, but don't read the source material.
The lack of source material, like when like I could tell how bad a project is going to be for like from like Disney when they hire someone and they spend like 20 minutes talking and none of it is about the actual material or the movie, not the source material. Like you spend, like if you're hired to do a Marvel project and you spend 20 minutes talking about how important diversity is and and you don't make one reference to the actual project, I'm like, this is probably going to be bad. Like Amon Vellani is like the perfect type of person that you want to be hiring, whether that for both actors and especially as writers and directors. Like she loves Marvel, she loves comics, and it shines through in every interview, every appearance she has. She's behind the scenes, on front of the camera. She is genuinely passionate about comics and nerd culture and wants to make the best possible project, to the point where she was sneaking comic books because they weren't allowed the source material on set. Like that culture is not going to get better unless there's like a culture change over there. Like it should be cool. You should find people who think it's cool to be doing a superhero movie. Because it is.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's, I think, the biggest problem is that, like, oh, I'm going to do a Marvel movie and I'm going to make it my own. No, that's not why these things exist. Like, I'm not saying you have to do a shot for shot remake of the comics, but like, these characters are loved for a reason. You're in a position to make a movie about these characters for a reason. Use the reason that got them there. Like, don't like, I just, that's my biggest issue. And like, I feel like the big dummies that like make everything about, oh, the MCU, blah blah blah. I mean, I can say that as a joke, but there are real people that are like, oh, I'm not going to see that. It's all girls. Like, it's fine if it's all girls if you just do it right, you know?
Arcane League of Legends, Arcane that show what had 2 female leads, and it's a great fucking show
Yeah, like
because they're well written characters.
yeah, like that's the thing about like the Marvels. I don't think the Marvels was like a great movie or anything, but like I thought it was definitely better than the first Captain Marvel movie. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that like Amon Villani can make you actually like what's her face?
Captain Marvel,
Yeah, what's her name?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Like Brie Larson's a very unlikable person in a lot of ways. She got like I don't want to judge her completely because I don't know her obviously, but
Yeah,
like she came across very poorly in the lead up to Captain
yeah.
Marvel.
She had.
And
I say she had a few very unfortunate sound bites.
yeah, and those have kind of defined her. And Captain in her portrayal of Captain Marvel, it's fairly accurate in a lot of ways because like Captain Marvel she's not the best written character sometimes. Do not read Civil War 2. You will hate Captain Marvel,
Oh,
okay?
don't worry, I
Uh
won't.
she's awful in that. Like, you know, like the first Civil War, are you team Cap or are you team Iron Man? There
Mm,
was some blurred lines there and like you could
yeah,
get it. In Civil War 2, are you team Iron Man or team Captain Marvel? There were no blurred lines. Captain Marvel was wrong. Like 100%. Nobody agreed with her. Did terrible things for her. But anyway, back to like Brie Larson, like she just had some really bad sound bites. She didn't handle some things properly. And I feel like she's always kind of suffered for that. And I get it. But at the same time, like the character she's portraying is kind of a little bit of a hard ass. So that doesn't help either. So then when
yeah,
you get somebody like Amon Villani, whose character is just a pure joy,
yeah.
and
One hundred
she is
percent.
just a pure joy, like she can make everybody around her better, you know?
Yeah, and that balance is what you really need. That's why I think in the first Captain Marvel they tried to surround her with like quippy with more quippy characters, like Fury, young Fury, when he was apparently according to Secret Invasion just a useless desk jockey waiting waiting for the scroll to create his career, but they had someone to play off of her, and Amon Villani helped out a lot. It's just unfortunate that they didn't develop it further because and that's a factor with the constant reshoots and the fact that they didn't even have the director there while they were doing the reshoots. Like they had months where the director wasn't even there. So, but there was potential. Like even within that, you could see it. That's kind of the frustrating part because it's like that whole exploration of Kamala potentially, you know, growing as more of as a character, kind of having herself disillusioned a bit because she idolizes Captain Marvel, and to have the opportunity to see like, oh, she's not perfect, she's made some terrible mistakes, like that would have been a legitimately interesting thing to explore. It would have made Captain Marvel look more human, and it would have helped Amon Villani grow up a little bit, mature. But instead, they were like, "Nope, we got to rush through because gotta get to the villain battle at the end with the CGI." And this is like, it's like that, and that's been a consistent problem with Marvel for years now. The quippiness that was really good in the beginning, it has kind of staled, not just because the quality of the jokes have gotten worse, but because they're just so ill-timed. Like their humor is fine, but there's a time and a place for it. And when you structure a film so that, or a show, so that there's basically no real serious moments, like where's everything, there's no stakes, there are no real consequences. Everything is a joke. It just makes it hard for you to take the project seriously.
Which sign?
So I'm hoping that at least we'll get a couple projects. I'm like I want to have. I think Deadpool 3 is going to be a slam dunk, and that's going to be mainly because of Ryan Reynolds. He was not going to sign on for some bullshit. So shout
Right.
out to Ryan Reynolds for having that integrity. But outside of that, I have some optimism, only because very little, but some, because of Marvel is at least attempting to course correct to some degree, by, like, the fact that they just basically said we're going to hit the hard reset on Daredevil Born Again because we looked at it and we just think it's just not up to par. You know, don't getting rid of all the creatives on the Blade movie that were apparently about to drive it into the ground. Doing looking at the direction of Thunderbolts movie was gone and saying, nope, we need a new writer, and getting the person from Beef, someone who's like at least established that they can write. Like, those are signs that say that they're aware that there is a problem, and that they're not going to be able to just get by on reputation anymore, and whatever they're doing isn't working, and they need to try to get back to the basics to some degree and start putting out quality material. Like, I think you even shared an article where Disney was no longer like the top grossing studio.
Yeah. It was
I, I think it was Universal.
yeah, Universal, I think, last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. They finally knocked Disney off, and no surprise. I mean, Disney just had flop after flop after flop, and it's not surprise. Like, the brand has legitimately been tainted by just the lack of quality. The culture war has definitely played a role in it, but at the end of the day, it just really comes down to the quality of the product. Like, it doesn't matter what your politics are, if you deliver a good movie. If you deliver something people want to see, they're going to see it. Like, Mario wasn't a masterpiece, but it was enough of quality, and it respected the source material enough that people was like, hey, we're going to go see it. Made over $1 billion.
Yep. And there's no reason why. I mean, I feel like people aren't seeing movies as much lately anyway. And
Yeah.
I wonder if it is just because they've been so bad. I don't believe in fatigue though. Like, I feel like people talk about like there's superhero fatigue. I don't believe that's a thing. We've said that, we've talked about
Yeah.
that before.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
believe
there is.
it's just been bad, you know?
Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's did well as well. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not really like, obviously there is some decline in movies because of home entertainment, but we've seen, time and time again, even in the last year, that people will absolutely go support a movie. Five Nights at Freddy was even, a situation where the movie was even available via streaming, and it still made big money at the box office. And it's just because, and that's why I think video game adaptations that's going to be the next wave to kind of replacing the superhero craze, because as long as you give people a reason to go, they'll go. Like, they're not going like they used to, but they'll still go if you give them something that is worth going to see. But just making the era of just we could just throw in just any $200 million slop and people are going to show up to it. That's over. Like, that's not that's not coming back. And it's not superhero fatigue. Like, even the Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, it ended up being a disappointment because quality matters. Like, people will happily go see a Mission Impossible, but it wasn't quality, and it didn't have that positive word of mouth, so people didn't go see it. But they saw Top Gun Maverick. like that's something people wanted, and they got it.
Let me tell you, I love that movie so much.
It's a great movie.
I've talked about it before, how like Top Gun's really special to me. When I was a kid, my dad was stationed in Japan for a year, and he came back from Japan, and he came back with his like awesome like stereo system and everything. And he came and picked me up at school, and we went home and we watched Top Gun. Full blast on his stereo. It was awesome. And my dad was an air traffic controller in the Marines, so like that like also kind of played into it. Like, so
Danger Zone.
yeah, that was my dad's ring. I cannot hear that song anymore without my heart skipping a beat, because like that was my dad's ringtone on my cell phone for like ever since I had a cell phone that could play ringtones.
Hear Danger Zone, I think of Archer.
Yeah, Danger Zone. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So when I went out to do the Suicide Squad thing, I'm on my flight and I'm looking for something to watch, and it's the second flight in a row I've done this where I watched Top Gun Maverick because like I feel when I'm in the sky, I feel like I'm with him, and it's something else to like just lose your shit on a flight watching a movie in front, like with all these people around you don't know. I I struggle to watch the movie, man. I love it so much, but like I just like that's a movie I would have flown to Florida to see it with my dad. Like I would have absolutely done that. So yeah, man. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to talk. Like it made me think about it because like I think I tweeted it when I was on my flight, like up here in the skies with my dad watching Top Gun, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I
Yeah.
just yeah.
Now, I didn't have that connection with Top Gun, but a similar movie to me, and it's completely random. It'll seem completely random. Is you ever heard of the movie Bed Knobs and Broomsticks?
Sounds familiar.
You're old, so it should be somewhat familiar. It's a really old Angela Lansbury movie. She plays a witch, and she's basically a witch helping fight Nazis, and and
Part
it was
cartoon.
yeah, and it was one of my mom's favorite movies of all time. And I watched it. I ended up watching a bunch because she watched it so often. We had the VHS and everything, and I still haven't been able to. It's on Disney Plus,
Mm.
and I've been meaning to like sit down and just rewatch it one of these days. But just in like honor in as a like a memory, because
Yeah.
that's something we shared a lot of times with, and I still can't. I can't even turn it on.
Yeah, I understand that. Obviously, because like that's how I feel. I don't know. I'm glad I do it though, because it does make me feel like whenever I'm on a flight and I do get to watch it, but man, it's just like some of those scenes are just tough in general. And it's just like I just can't help but think. I don't know.
It was also a fantastic movie,
Yeah.
just on its own merits. Like I watched it.
Yeah.
Like I wish I did actually get up and see it in the theater, because those flight scenes are just so well done. Even just sitting and watching it on my TV, I was just like, oh, oh my god.
Yeah, I can't I can't necessarily even disagree. Like I think they're both two of my favorite movies of all time easily. I think it's easier. Like I feel like they definitely like it's easier now. Like I feel like it's better to make movies now obviously than it was back
Yeah.
then, but like
Top Gun obviously has the nostalgia factor, but I feel like uh, just as an objective observer, someone who watched both movies, that just Top Gun Maverick is just a better movie, like just top down, like up, like
yeah.
all around, like not just obviously the quality of the visual effects, the production value is obviously much higher, but I think it's just a better. I think it's just a better story. It's got better pacing. I think it's just overall just a better movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it opening night with my brother at the theater, and I don't think either one of us looked at the other during the movie because we were both scared we were going to be bawling our eyes out, which I was. But yeah,
The beach scene in one was definitely better.
yeah. I mean that was one of the very few moments in the movie that felt a little contrived, but
Yeah, I
we'll
mean we
let
knew.
we'll let it be. But
I
yeah,
mean
like
we knew
but like it was so cool though because like I was around all those planes like growing up. My dad was a Marine air traffic controller. he didn't work in the tower. He was in the radar room below. But like I would go with him sometimes to work, and we would park at the where the building where the tower is, and when we're walking in, it's just rows of planes parked. you know like it was just cool. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen a Harrier, like an A8 Harrier, take off, but like
Definitely not me.
all right, takes off vertically, and that shit is cool. It's even cooler to see it land. It's just like, and that was one of the jets that was like popular on our base.
I took a
um
flight. I mean, I took a flight to Disney World once, so I saw that kind of take off. Whatever
yeah,
kind of plane
yeah,
that
but
was.
like like there were times like when my dad was off duty, we would go down to the tower and just kind of like there's like you can go like there's like, I don't know, railing, I guess, like a little deck around the tower, so like you could walk out of the tower and like walk around it. And we just go out there and kind of hang out and just watch the jets come and go, you know so
Yes, very beautiful. There's apparently a debate going on in the chat about the portrayal of Scott Lang and Cassie in terms of their intelligence. Like,
well, Scott Lang is just a criminal. Like, he wasn't
I mean,
smart.
he was smart, but he wasn't like a science genius or anything
Right.
like that. But yeah, the Cassie thing was kind of an ass pull. Like they didn't establish that she was a child genius, and the fact that they basically had us believe that she just looked at Hank's notebooks and just learned everything he knew about quantum mechanics is just, first of all, complete nonsense, because the because in character, Hank is like some doesn't trust anybody pretty much, and if he's writing stuff in his notebook, it's going to be in code, first of all, and it's not going to be written as like how to guide to quantum mechanics, because he's obviously a master at it. So he's not going to be writing it in a way that someone could just pick it up and get it in a crash course. He's writing down scattered notes and ideas and concepts. So the idea that a 14 or 12-year-old is going to pick it up and just understand it from reading his notes is completely ridiculous. Especially if they didn't establish her as a genius previously. So I can understand why people were just like off of that, because it just literally just came out of nowhere, to the point where now she just can just invent a a device that can track the entire the quantum realm. Like,
Well, yeah, she was working with Hope, obviously, so plus she survived the blip.
yeah, it was definitely something, and that just comes from the lack of continuity. Like,
Yeah.
if you had established in one of the previous films that she was kind of some kind of prodigy, then it's like, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that we just saw her as just this cute little girl, and then we briefly see her as an older, hugging her dad when he comes back from the blip. Then the next time she's a completely different actor. She's being a complete asshole, and all of a sudden she's like the smartest person, one of the smartest people on the entire planet, and a foremost expert in quantum mechanics at 17. Like, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like what? That's obviously silly, but that's a form of bad writing. It's not that there's anything wrong with having Cassie be a genius. Just that the way it was written is terrible.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah, it definitely was a theme in that particular movie. There's a huge, yeah, the huge the time gap isn't the problem. We know that there is a there was a time gap, because we literally saw them in Endgame, but but and they actually made her younger in Ant-Man 3. The problem is that time gap doesn't explain someone who's not a genius being as smart as being as smart as Hank Pym when it comes to quantum mechanics out of nowhere just by reading his notebooks. Like that's nonsense. Like that's the problem. The amount of time she had, Hank's been studying quantum mechanics his entire life. It does you afford it does 5 years is not enough time to become an not just an expert in quantum mechanics, but an expert to a degree that doesn't exist in the real world. Like some like sci-fi level brilliant to the point where you can create things that should be impossible with your knowledge. That doesn't make any sense. If you watch the movie, she was just her knowledge of quantum mechanics was pretty much equal to Hank's at that point. Like with how well she was at developing that machine. That's all. That it was unrealistic because precisely because it wasn't previously established that she was a prodigy. That's the weird part. It's not the fact that you can't have a prodigy. Obviously, that's the origin. That's the origin. Like when we met, if Riri Williams had made that device to scan the quantum realm, we would have believed it because Riri Williams's character is literally that she's a child prodigy that was so smart that she was recognized by Tony Stark. That's her whole thing. She's been leveraging that for years. That's her character. So it would make sense for her to be able to do something like that because she's a super genius. They from a young age they've established that. From everything we saw, Cassie Lang was just a normal girl. but
Yeah.
it's but as soon as we see her next time in Ant-Man 3, she's a radical activist who hates her dad, who kind of hates her dad,
Yeah.
and is one of the foremost experts in quantum physics in the quantum realm.
And then there's that.
Yeah, it's just weird. That's just how it is. Riri Williams is potentially to be that smart, but again, you're talking about you're talking about bad writing. Yeah, she is portrayed to be that smart, but there are moments in Black Panther 2 where she seems dumb because the writing is dumb. it's, it's not a well written movie, but she's supposed to be a genius. That's why they're looking for her. The CIA is looking for her because she built the vibranium detector, which no one else thought to, thought to make. Not Shuri, but all these years, Shuri, all these years they've had vibranium. No one ever considered looking for it elsewhere. No one ever considered. You know what? We're very protective of vibranium. Maybe we should if we don't want the world to have it, maybe we should try to find a way to track it, see if it landed anywhere else, and then collect it for ourselves. Like no one in Wakanda history ever considered that is actually crazy, especially Shuri. But that's another thing. I just didn't like that movie. I thought Chadwick deserved a better send off.
Yeah.
than what they gave him.
Yeah.
There were parts of it that were okay, but yeah, overall I was like, this ain't it. This wasn't it.
But at least they rushed out and made the movie when everybody was grieving.
Yeah, I mean, obviously gotta get those receipts in for the shareholders.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always my big. I mean, I'm absolutely a recast guy. You know, it's funny how quickly they're gonna recast someone like Jonathan Majors. You know, um, and not like a way more important character. Like I don't know. It's been long enough though. I feel like they really need to get there.
But he's Kang. He's the most important. he's Thanos basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not wait. I think they as soon as the news hit the social media, he was out. They didn't wait for
Well, I
the
mean, they prepared a little bit, you know.
they didn't wait for an appeal or nothing. They was like, "Are you out, boy?"
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to do it.
Apparently, he's going to be on one of the morning shows Monday.
Is he? I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, he's doing an interview, or he did an interview. They're going to show, I think, Monday on like Good Morning America or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get a slap on the wrist, relatively, but I assumed he would appeal.
Well, because doesn't she have a trial too for like the same thing against him?
No, I think that was supposed to be the trial. Like that's why I thought the verdict was so strange because she wasn't being charged, but from my understanding, the case hinged on the claim that the injuries that she suffered that they found the morning after that the alleged incident took place were caused by him. But from all the evidence that I actually saw, they had no proof that he had anything to do with it because we saw the video of them in the car, getting out of the car. We saw obviously of him being chased by her, but we actually saw her interacting with people. We saw her at the club, going shopping. None of those injuries were there. That's why, but he was essentially convicted of inflicting those injuries in the car while he was trying to get away from her. That's essentially what they ruled. They're saying the injured finger, the laceration in the ear, was caused by somehow him putting her back in the car because she kept trying to chase him.
Yeah.
But we see her after that incident with none of those injuries. But they convicted him anyway. So that's why I was like really confused about that whole thing, and why I assumed he'd be doing an appeal. I figured Marvel.
I feel like he needs to get the sentencing and then he can do the appeal.
Yeah, and I expect that's going to happen. I knew Marvel was going to drop him, but because they've Disney has enough bad press, and I think they just were just looking for an excuse to just offload him because it's not like he was even though they literally built their feature phases around him. There's enough uncertainty because of all these box office failures that they were probably like, you know what, this just gives us this lets us get rid of some bad press and we can potentially reevaluate what to do with those future movies. And I think that's kind of what it was, because it's not like Kang was like a huge draw anyway. Like Ant-Man 3 didn't make money. Loki didn't have good reviews. I mean, it didn't have a high ratings. So it's like, it's not like we're missing. It's not like he was a Robert Downey, level popular,
right,
in the MCU. So he was much more replaceable. So then it's like, well, he's causing a problem. We could just get rid of him and just be done with it, and probably have a better villain or just have someone else fill in that role. I mean, it's not like the role of Kang the Conqueror can't be played by anyone else.
but they also established it that Kang is like there's a Kang verse essentially.
Yeah.
So that obviously makes it
Much easier to
right.
Yeah. So you just be like, oh well, I mean, it's all about variants and stuff. So yeah, just a different variant. Even though they made they had all the other variants just be different versions of Jonathan Majors, they just be like, well, these variants over here that we're focusing on are of this other black actor. Just easy to swap out. But they probably, I mean, they'll probably still end up doing some version of the Kang thing, but I do think they need to move that forward and start bringing in some Doctor Doom, start getting him established.
Indeed. That's I'm surprised at, like, for how long it's been since they bought Fox, that like I mean, I guess there was the pandemic and everything,
Yeah.
but I just feel like I'm surprised they haven't
Yeah.
advanced further into
Because I remember there was a rumor that he would appear in a post credit scene at the end of Wakanda Forever,
right.
which didn't end up happening, and I'm just like they should have done that at some point. Like I know the Fantastic Four movie's still not ready yet, but they should start laying the groundwork for Doom because you can't have Secret Wars without Doom. Like that's weird.
Right.
I mean, Marvel could try because they've been fumbling a lot, but they shouldn't. they should not have Secret Wars without establishing Doctor Doom. Let's hope that they do. Well, it's actually way past your bedtime, Mr. Blast.
Once we hit the 3-hour mark, that's when I start to like tune out a little bit.
Yeah. Jay's got to get back to watching his Matlock around this time, so we'll wrap it up for this week. But yeah, we had to do an extra hour because a lot happened over the break. We had to get.
I thought it was a good show. I really like this was a good one. I thought we got to talk about some really cool shit.
Yeah, and we definitely got some out of context clips we can use of Jay for the purposes of YouTube shorts that we can use. And yeah, one of my New Year's resolutions was to post more on the channel besides the live stream. So I will definitely be editing the stream and
make sure you don't always make me look like an idiot.
Oh, not always, of course. I'll mix it up a little bit.
Don't undermine me.
No, I'll definitely not highlight how much you enjoy being sucked too much. we'll cut up the segments and just show the good conversations that we had about a variety of topics. We'll see.
This is a good point. Not suggesting we'll do it this time, but we did not talk about What If.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week because I did see. Did you see all of What If season 2?
I think I might have accidentally missed the Hela episode. I don't know how.
So there you go. Well, that's probably
the best. The other ones.
The Hela one's the best episode. So
then there you go.
So we'll save that. So we'll save the What If season 2 for next week because I have thoughts.
I actually think I know what happened. I got to the Hela episode. It started and I pressed pause, and then when I went to go back and watch it later, I opened a new window of Disney Plus because I just watched it on my computer, and it skipped the episode because it thought I already watched it.
Yeah, so there you go. So next week we'll have a full review of What If season 2, and we'll also, of course, have a full spoiler breakdown of Jay's experience with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because that by that Friday his video
will be able to talk about it.
Will have already gone up. The embargo will have been up, and we'll have some interesting stuff to discuss about the game. I'm sure. Make sure you subscribe to JayShockblast so you don't miss that when it drops on the 9th. And once again, shout out to Casual Avenger. Hopefully he can he popped into the chat, but hopefully we can get him in for the first appearance of 2024 where all of us are together. Looking forward to that. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
Liar.
JayShockblast.
Zip it up and zip it out. Peace, all my naysayers.